Do you ever feel like life keeps testing your limits, pushing you to the edge? It's easy to feel like you're not strong enough to handle what's coming your way. But here's the truth. You have more strength inside you than you realize. Your ability to endure, push through, and keep going when things get tough is what builds inner strength. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to develop that strength and grow it into something powerful. Think about the toughest challenge you've faced so far. Maybe it was a time when everything seemed to fall apart, and you weren't sure how you'd make it through. But you did, didn't you? You found a way to keep going. That moment of perseverance, that grit you had, is exactly what you can build on. What if I told you that you could make that inner strength even stronger? That no matter what life throws at you, you can feel confident in your ability to handle it. That's what we're going to explore today. Throughout this video, I'm going to break down the steps you can take to build immense inner strength. We'll look at how you can draw from your past experiences, use the challenges you've faced as fuel, and develop a mindset that keeps you steady and strong, even in the toughest times. So, are you ready to discover how you can unlock the inner power that's already inside you? This is more than just advice. This is a step-by-step guide to developing the kind of strength that will help you face any challenge with confidence. Stick around and let's get started on building the inner strength that will carry you through whatever comes your way. Because once you understand how to harness your true potential, nothing will seem impossible. Chapter 1. Build mental muscles by sitting calmly in silence. You want to build real inner strength? Then you must understand this truth. Your mind is your most powerful asset, but only if you train it the way others train their bodies. Most people walk through life reacting to everything around them. They're pulled left and right by noise, distractions, opinions, and temptations. Their minds are weak not because they were born that way, but because they've never taught themselves how to sit still and own their thoughts. If you want inner strength, you must begin where it truly begins, with silence. When you sit in silence, you confront something most people run from every single day: yourself. No phone, no distractions, no one to impress, just you and the thoughts you've been avoiding. At first it will feel strange. You might get restless, you might feel anxious, you might even want to stand up and walk away from yourself. That's exactly why you must stay seated. That resistance you feel is the very thing keeping you weak. And if you can stay put long enough to see it clearly, you'll begin to take back control. Mental strength is not something you gain from reading quotes or watching motivational videos. It's earned through self-discipline, through choosing the hard path when the easy one is begging you to follow. Sitting calmly in silence is one of the hardest things to do in today's world, because it gives you no immediate reward, but it gives you something far more valuable: clarity. And with clarity comes power. When you remove all the noise, all the pressure to do, all the fake urgency the world throws at you, you begin to notice what's actually going on in your mind. You start to hear your own voice again, not the voice of your fears, not the voice of your parents, not the voice of society, but your real voice. And when that voice becomes louder than all the others, you start making decisions from a place of strength, not weakness. It takes strength to sit still and not reach for your phone. It takes strength to sit with your worries and not run from them. It takes strength to notice your thoughts without letting them control you. That is how you train the mind. That is how you build inner power that nobody can take from you. You want to build mental muscles? Then treat your mind like a muscle. And just like lifting a heavy weight, sitting in silence is uncomfortable at first. But if you do it every day, even for 5 minutes, you'll notice something remarkable. You'll become more focused. You'll become more centered. You'll stop reacting to nonsense. You'll stop chasing things that don't matter. You'll start choosing how you respond, rather than letting the world dictate your mood. Strength is not found in noise. It's not found in arguments. It's not found in the need to prove anything to anyone. It's found in stillness. It's found when you can sit in a room alone and feel completely at peace with who you are. That's when you know you've built something real inside yourself. And it's not about pretending everything is fine. When you sit in silence, you don't fake anything. You feel what you feel. If you're tired, you feel tired. If you're angry, you face that anger. If you're scared, you sit with that fear. And over time something changes. Those emotions that once controlled you, they start to fade. They lose their grip, because you're no longer feeding them with panic or avoidance. You're watching them from a calm distance. That's strength. We live in a world addicted to noise. The moment someone feels discomfort, they reach for something to escape it. Social media, music, small talk, anything but silence. Why? Because silence forces us to face the truth. And the truth is, most people are afraid of what they'll find when the noise disappears. But if you're the one who sits in silence and listens with courage, you'll gain an advantage that's invisible to others, but undeniable in your presence. You will become the calmest person in the room. You will develop the ability to stay steady under pressure. While others are panicking, you'll be planning. While others are reacting, you'll be thinking. While others are looking for someone to follow, you'll be leading yourself. That's what silence does. It sharpens your judgment. It strengthens your decisions. It anchors your emotions. It gives you real control over your life. You don't need to meditate like a monk. You don't need to sit for hours. You just need to begin. Find a place where no one can interrupt you. Sit down, breathe, and stay there. No music, no input. Just you and your breath. Your mind will try to distract you. That's okay. Bring it back. You will get better with time. And one day you'll notice that the silence doesn't scare you anymore. It empowers you. When you train your mind to be calm in silence, you train it to be calm in chaos. You start to see problems clearly. You stop taking things personally. You don't get pulled into arguments. You don't chase validation. You walk your own path. Because now you're not driven by fear or impulse. You're driven by purpose. And that purpose is born from within, not from the outside world. You see, building inner strength is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming grounded. It's about not falling apart every time life pushes you. It's about holding your position even when everything around you is shaking. And that ability is built in the quiet moments you give yourself. Most people skip those moments. But the few who embrace them, they build something inside that the world can't touch. People will ask you why you're so calm. They'll wonder why you don't react like everyone else. They'll try to figure out how you stay so collected under stress. They won't understand that it's the silence that made you strong. You didn't just wake up this way. You trained for it. You earned it. In silence, alone, without applause. That is what makes your strength real. If you want to build immense inner strength, start by doing the thing most people are too afraid to do. Sit down. Turn off the noise. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try to figure everything out. Just breathe and observe. Your mind will try to fight. That's how you know you're doing the right thing. Every time you stay seated when you want to run, you grow stronger. Every time you stay calm when your thoughts try to rush you, you grow wiser. This practice is simple, but it's not easy. That's why so few people do it. But if you want to lead your own life, if you want to think for yourself, if you want to become someone others look to for stability and strength, then you must earn that right. And it starts with silence. Not once a week, not when it's convenient. Every day, no matter how busy you are, because nothing is more important than your mind. Not your work, not your phone, not your to-do list. If you don't control your mind, all those things will control you. So you sit, and you feel, and you stay. You let the thoughts come, you let them go. You don't chase them, you don't run from them. You observe, and every second you stay there, you build something strong, something no one can take. You build mental muscle, you build emotional discipline, you build self-respect, you build something that money can't buy. You build a foundation that will hold you up no matter what life throws at you. And one day, when life hits you hard, as it always does, you won't break. You'll stand taller, not because you're pretending, but because you're ready, because you trained for this moment. In silence, in stillness, in truth. That is how you build immense inner strength, and the world will notice, even if you never say a word. Chapter 2. Face fear directly and feel your heartbeat deepen. Fear is one of the most personal and powerful forces in a person's life. It doesn't announce itself loudly, but you feel it deep in your body. It shows up in small ways, and then it grows if you let it. It holds you back when you know you should step forward. It whispers lies about what you can't do, what could go wrong, and what others might think. And unless you look it in the face, it owns you. People spend their entire lives running from fear, distracting themselves with entertainment, staying busy to avoid thinking, or pretending the fear isn't real. But deep down, it never really leaves. It waits. It shows up when you want to speak your truth. It shows up when you're about to change your life. It shows up when you're about to take a risk that could elevate you. Fear is always there when the moment matters most. That's why you must face it head-on, not with force but with truth. To face fear is to stop looking away from what you already know is in front of you. That pounding in your chest, that's real. That tension in your shoulders, it's real. That cold breath, that's your body reacting to something deep. Don't try to shut it down. Don't try to calm it away with fake positivity. You need to feel it. When you face fear directly and fully, when you allow yourself to experience it without retreating, something powerful happens. You begin to understand that the fear is not here to destroy you. It's here to reveal you. You can only grow when you face what you've been avoiding. You will never know what you're capable of until you go toward the thing that makes your heartbeat race. You will never develop inner strength by staying in comfort. You don't need more tips, more motivation, or more distractions. What you need is courage. And courage only appears in the presence of fear. It's not something you read about. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you choose. Your fear might come from your past. It might come from a voice that told you once that you weren't enough. It might come from failure. It might come from rejection. But what matters most is not where it came from. It's what you do with it now. If you want to build real power inside, you have to be willing to stand in front of your fear and not blink. You must allow your heart to beat fast. You must let your palms sweat. You must let your breath shorten. And still you stay there. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to feel brave. Feel exactly what's happening in your body. That's where your power is. The heartbeat you feel when you're afraid is not weakness. It's life. It's potential. It's your body preparing to grow. Don't run from it. Feel it fully. If your heart is pounding, that means the moment matters. That means you're close to something meaningful. And when you feel that sensation without running away, you begin to take control back from fear. Avoiding fear weakens you over time. It makes you smaller in your own eyes. It builds a quiet kind of shame. You start to believe you're not someone who can handle challenge, but that's a lie. You're not weak. You're just untrained. And training begins the moment you stop escaping fear and instead stand still and meet it like an equal. You may think you're the only one who feels afraid. You're not. Every person walking this earth has fear living somewhere inside them, but the difference between people who grow and those who stay stuck is this. Those who grow choose to move forward even when the fear is still there. They don't wait for it to go away. They don't let it define their limits. They walk with it. They make fear their teacher, not their master. Every time you face fear, you build something strong inside, and no one can see it at first. There are no rewards for it. No applause, no recognition, but inside you something is happening. Your mind is learning that you can handle discomfort. Your body is learning that it can survive intensity. Your character is learning that it can stand up to pain without giving up. And that changes everything. You stop avoiding hard conversations. You stop lying to yourself. You stop postponing your goals. You stop making excuses. You stop shrinking from life. Because now you know fear is not a wall. It's a door. And when you walk through it, you don't just get to the other side. You become the kind of person who walks through fear. That identity shift is everything. Start with something small. Think of one fear that's been controlling you lately. It could be a decision you've been putting off, a conversation you've been dreading, a truth you haven't said out loud. Name it clearly. Say it to yourself. And instead of pushing it aside, ask yourself, what would happen if I faced this today? Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Now feel your body. Notice your chest. Feel your heart. Notice the breath. You're alive. You're not weak. You're capable of more than you think. The fact that you feel fear does not mean something is wrong. It means something important is happening. Your future is calling. It's not asking for perfection. It's asking for presence. Show up scared if you must, but show up fully. You'll feel shaky. You'll feel uncertain. That's okay. What matters is that you stay with the moment. You don't turn away. You speak what you need to speak. You take the action you've been avoiding. And even if your voice trembles, even if your knees feel weak, the action still counts. In fact, it counts more. Because it wasn't easy. That's where real inner strength comes from. Doing what needs to be done even when it feels terrifying. You will never build power by running. Every time you avoid fear, you tell your mind that fear is stronger than you. Every time you confront fear, you send a new message. You are capable, you are grounded, and you are growing. That's how you train yourself to stay steady. Not by removing fear, but by standing firm in the middle of it. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to act. Courage doesn't come from confidence. It creates confidence. When you do the thing you fear, even with shaking hands and a racing heart, you prove to yourself that you're someone who moves forward. And the more you move forward, the more trust you build within yourself. That self-trust will follow you into everything. It will help you speak up when it's easier to stay silent. It will help you stand up for yourself when others try to define you. It will help you step into challenges when comfort is calling. Because now you're not reacting from fear, you're responding with purpose. You were not born to live in fear. You were not designed to avoid life. You are here to grow. And growth demands that you meet the uncomfortable parts of yourself with full attention. Not judgment, not shame, just attention. Because when you bring awareness to fear, it starts to lose its grip. It thrives in darkness. But when you look it in the face and say, "I see you," it begins to weaken. And you begin to rise. Remember this truth: fear is not something to remove. It's something to walk through. When your heart beats faster, that's not a sign to back away. That's your body saying, "This matters." It's your signal to lean in, not out. Don't let the discomfort trick you into quitting. Feel the heartbeat, feel the energy, and move. You don't need to feel strong to become strong. You need to act with intention. Despite fear, you need to decide that growth matters more than comfort, that honesty matters more than ease, that action matters more than approval. And once you decide, the path is clear, not easy, but clear. Step into the conversation. Make the difficult choice. Apply for the opportunity. Ask the question. Set the boundary. Start the journey. Stop waiting to feel different. You won't, but you'll change by doing. And with every step your fear will shrink, and your sense of self will expand. You will become someone who doesn't run, someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who doesn't get controlled by what-ifs, someone who doesn't need everything to feel safe before taking action. You'll become someone who can walk forward, heart racing, body shaking, but still standing tall. That's power, and it's built, step by step, in the fire of fear. The only way to grow is through. So go toward the thing you're afraid of. Not recklessly, not blindly, but intentionally. Go slowly if you must. Just don't go backward, because every step forward builds you, and no one can do it for you. This is your work. This is your opportunity. This is your strength being born. Stand up. Face it. Feel everything. And walk forward. That is how you build immense inner strength. Chapter 3. Strengthen willpower by choosing discomfort and feeling resolved. Most people want to be strong, but they rarely do what it takes to become strong. They want willpower, but they avoid the exact conditions that create it. Willpower is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's not a gift. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's a choice made over and over again. And the foundation of that choice is discomfort. If you want real strength inside, the kind of strength that can't be shaken by fear, doubt, or temptation, you have to stop chasing ease and start choosing the harder path when it matters most. The uncomfortable path is not glamorous. There is no reward in the beginning. No comfort, no applause, just resistance, just that inner voice telling you to take the easy way out. That's the voice that kills progress. That's the voice that steals your discipline. That's the voice you have to face head on, because that voice isn't you. It's the weaker version of you that wants to stay safe, unchallenged, and undisturbed. But if you're honest with yourself, safety hasn't given you peace. Comfort hasn't made you fulfilled. Avoiding the hard things hasn't made you stronger. It's made you restless. It's made you dependent on external circumstances. It's made you fragile. The truth is, willpower only grows when you stop negotiating with comfort. You have to stop asking if it feels good and start asking if it makes you grow. Choosing discomfort means doing what you don't feel like doing when you know it needs to be done. It means showing up for yourself when it's cold outside, when you're tired, when no one's watching, when there's no motivation, when quitting feels more reasonable than continuing. It's about holding your standard regardless of how you feel. That is real power, staying consistent without a reward. Following through because you said you would, keeping your word to yourself, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Most people fold at the first sign of pressure. They start something with energy and quit as soon as it gets boring or inconvenient. But discipline is not about what you do when it's new or exciting. It's about what you keep doing when it's no longer fun. The moment you push through that boredom, that resistance, that desire to escape, is the moment you build your willpower. That's where you separate yourself from the masses. Comfort is addictive. It tells you that you deserve a break. It tells you that it's okay to skip today, that you can start tomorrow, that it's not a big deal. But every time you listen to that voice, you lose a little part of yourself. You lose your edge. You lose your fire. You lose the trust you have in your own ability to stay committed. And you know that feeling when you break a promise to yourself, when you settle for less than you know you could do. That's the part that eats away at you. That's the part that makes you question your worth. But the good news is this: every time you choose discomfort with purpose, you build it back. You build your willpower like a muscle. You stretch your ability to hold the line. You remind yourself that you are not ruled by your urges, your emotions, or your moods. You become someone who can be relied on, especially by yourself. Discomfort is the gatekeeper to the next version of your life. If you're not willing to go through it, you'll stay stuck. You can dream all you want. You can talk about goals all day. But if you're not willing to sit with discomfort, nothing changes. Because growth lives on the other side of what's uncomfortable. That's the price. And only those who are willing to pay that price get the reward of a stronger mind. You need to stop waiting for motivation. It's unreliable. It's inconsistent. You don't need motivation to build willpower. You need commitment. A deep decision that says, no matter what, I will do what's right for me. That decision will carry you further than any external hype ever will. That decision is the beginning of real change. Discomfort doesn't mean danger. It just means effort. It means stepping into a situation where you don't feel in control. It means putting yourself in a position where you might fail, might fall, might get rejected. But that's the training ground. That's where your mind gets sharper. That's where your inner strength gets defined. You're not supposed to feel perfect in discomfort. You're supposed to feel pressure and choose to stay in it anyway. Willpower is built when you do what's hard without being forced. When you wake up early not because someone made you, but because you decided your future matters more than another hour of sleep. When you train your body even when it's easier to rest. When you say no to what tempts you because you value your vision. Every one of these moments counts. Every one of them builds strength, and it doesn't take a huge moment to begin. Start by choosing the harder option today. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Finish the task you want to avoid. Say no when you'd normally give in. Have the conversation you've been postponing. Speak the truth you've been afraid to say. Every time you choose what challenges you, your willpower tightens. Every time you stick to what matters when it's inconvenient, your identity shifts. You become someone who finishes. Someone who follows through. Someone who doesn't wait to feel ready. Someone who lives by choice, not by impulse. And the world will notice that. People might not say it, but they'll see it. In how you walk, in how you speak, in how you handle setbacks. They'll see a person who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't quit when it gets hard, who doesn't complain, doesn't wait, doesn't fold. That kind of strength can't be faked. It has to be built, and it's built in discomfort. The mind resists change. That's natural, but you can train it to obey your decisions instead of controlling them. It starts by not giving in to every craving, not responding to every emotion, not escaping every moment that feels uncomfortable. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be consistent. You just have to stay longer in the discomfort than you used to. You just have to stop running from the very thing that would make you stronger if you'd lean into it. There's a kind of quiet pride that comes when you choose discomfort with intention. When you finish a task no one else knows about. When you show up for yourself even when nobody's watching. That pride doesn't come from results. It comes from integrity. From doing the right thing when it's the hard thing. From knowing you can depend on yourself. You will not build this in a day. You will not transform your willpower overnight. But every single time you do the thing you want to avoid, every single time you choose the path that challenges you, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. And those votes add up. They compound. They turn into the new version of you. A version that no longer needs to be convinced. A version that already knows. Comfort is a trap, but discomfort is freedom. You will have days when you fail. That's part of the process. But don't let one failure become a new habit. When you slip, get back up without delay. The difference between those who build strength and those who stay weak is not perfection. It's recovery. It's how fast you return to your path. If you keep showing up, if you keep choosing challenge, if you keep saying yes to the harder way, your willpower will grow beyond what you ever imagined. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to compare. You don't need approval. You need one thing. A reason that matters more than comfort. Something you believe in. Something worth sacrificing for. Something worth showing up for. Every single day, no matter how you feel. That reason will carry you through the days you want to give up. That reason will become your anchor when nothing else makes sense. This is your work. No one else can do it for you. And that's not a burden. It's a blessing. Because if it's yours, it means you have the power to change it. You don't have to wait for anything to begin. You can start now. You can start with what's in front of you. Choose what challenges you. Choose what sharpens you. Choose what makes you better. And never regret choosing discomfort when it builds the strength you've always needed. Chapter 4. Cultivate self-trust through honest reflection and deep calm. You will never fully believe in yourself until you learn how to be honest with yourself. You cannot develop self-trust without the discipline of reflection and the courage to see your life clearly. Most people don't take the time to slow down and look inside. They keep themselves busy, distracted, entertained. They stay in motion not because they're progressing, but because they're avoiding something. Avoiding the quiet. Avoiding the truth. Avoiding the parts of themselves they haven't yet faced. But that silence, the one they keep running from, is where self-trust is built. Not in noise, not in speed, but in stillness. When you take a step back from your routine, when you sit with your own thoughts, you begin to see who you really are, not who you pretend to be for others, not who you wish you were, but who you've actually become through your choices. That awareness is not always comfortable, but it is essential. You cannot grow if you don't know where you stand, You cannot change if you don't accept where you've been, and you cannot build trust in yourself if you keep lying to yourself about where you are. Reflection is not about judging yourself, it's about seeing clearly. When you sit in silence and ask yourself the hard questions, where am I going? Why am I doing this? What's really driving my actions? You begin to pull back the curtain, and behind that curtain you find the real work. The work that no one else sees, the work that can't be faked. That's where you reconnect with your values. That's where you remember what matters. That's where your self-respect begins to return. You start trusting yourself again when your thoughts, your words, and your actions begin to align. But alignment cannot happen in a life that's never examined. If you're constantly moving, constantly reacting, constantly reaching for something new to distract you, you lose touch with the only voice that actually matters, your own. Deep down, your mind knows the difference between a life that's built on truth and one that's built on denial. And when you stop listening to that inner voice, it stops speaking to you clearly. You become lost, not because you're incapable, but because you've forgotten how to hear your own wisdom. Self-trust is not built through ego. It's not built by pretending to be more confident than you are. It's built through the slow and quiet process of self-honesty. It's built when you sit alone, away from the world's noise, and you look at your life with clear eyes. You ask yourself if you've kept your word. You ask yourself if your actions reflect your standards. You ask yourself if you've been avoiding your responsibilities, your growth, your own truth. And when the answer is no, when you see where you've fallen short, that's not the moment to feel shame. That's the moment to begin again. That's the moment to choose a better standard, not out of guilt, but out of love for who you're becoming. Because no matter how far off course you've drifted, you always have the power to return to yourself. But you must return through reflection, through calm, through honesty. Most people are not calm because they are not clear. They are full of thoughts they haven't processed, regrets they haven't faced, decisions they've delayed. They carry that tension with them everywhere. You can see it in how they speak, how they move, how they avoid silence. But calm is not found by doing more. It's found by sitting with less, by breathing through discomfort, by accepting what is and choosing what will be, with presence. When you begin to develop deep calm, you stop reacting to everything. You stop needing to control every outcome. You begin to notice that much of what you stressed about was created in your own mind. You see that the more calm you cultivate, the more stable you become. And from that stability, trust in yourself grows naturally. Because calm teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you how to respond instead of react. And most of all, it teaches you how to stay centered when life pushes you off balance. You don't find self-trust in the opinions of others. You don't find it in likes, or praise, or validation. You find it in your own ability to sit quietly and be at peace with your decisions. You find it in knowing that you didn't take shortcuts, that you didn't betray yourself for temporary comfort, that you didn't lie to escape discomfort. And that kind of inner peace can't be bought. It can't be faked. It has to be earned through reflection and calm. When you build a daily habit of honest reflection, you begin to notice patterns. You see what's working and what's not. You become your own guide, your own accountability partner. You don't need to be told what to fix, because you're already paying attention. That attention is the beginning of wisdom. That's how you break out of cycles that used to control you. That's how you begin to move with intention instead of emotion. You can only change what you're willing to look at directly. Most people avoid reflection because it forces them to see what they've ignored. But that avoidance comes at a cost. It keeps them repeating the same behaviors, blaming the same people, escaping the same truths. They never build trust in themselves because they never create the conditions for trust to grow. If you want to build anything meaningful inside, you must be willing to see yourself fully, without excuse, without distortion, without ego. And when you do this consistently, something powerful happens. You stop doubting yourself so much. You stop second-guessing every decision. You stop relying on external signs to tell you who you are. You start feeling a quiet conviction, one that doesn't shout, doesn't brag, doesn't need attention. It simply knows. It knows you've looked within and stayed true. It knows you've faced your flaws without running. It knows you've accepted your past without being controlled by it. And that knowing becomes your strength. You can't force trust. You can't pretend to have it. But you can create it. And you create it every time you slow down enough to hear your own thoughts clearly. Every time you choose stillness over distraction. Every time you sit in quiet and ask yourself what needs to change. That process might not feel productive in the beginning, but over time it becomes the most powerful work you can do. Because everything else, your confidence, your decisions, your discipline, flows from this foundation of inner clarity. You don't need to run away from your mind. You need to return to it. You need to meet yourself where you are, with honesty and calm. Not to criticize, not to shame, but to understand. To realign. To begin again from a place of truth. That's how you build the kind of self-trust that doesn't depend on circumstances. That's how you become the kind of person who can weather storms without breaking. That's how you create a life that doesn't collapse every time things get difficult. This is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about choosing to be fully awake to your own life. To not drift through your days unaware. To not numb yourself with noise. To not fill your hours with meaningless distractions. It's about choosing depth over speed, meaning over motion. And the only place you find that is in the stillness of your own reflection. So take that time, even if it's only a few minutes each day. Sit with yourself. Ask the questions that matter. Listen for the answers that don't come from fear. You may not always like what you hear, but you will always grow from hearing it. And with time you will begin to trust your own voice again. You'll stop needing the world to tell you who you are, because you will already know. Chapter 5. Push physical limits and notice your body responding strongly. When you push your body past its limits, something deep inside begins to shift. You don't just build muscle, you build something far more valuable: control over your reactions, discipline over your urges, and proof that you are capable of more than you thought. That shift doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in the places where your body aches and your mind screams for you to stop. It happens when you're out of breath, dripping sweat, heart pounding, and you make the decision to keep going anyway. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not broken for feeling discomfort. That is the human experience. But when you rise above that discomfort, when you choose to move through it instead of surrendering to it, your body listens. It adapts. It grows stronger, not just in muscle or stamina, but in confidence, in presence, in trust. Your physical body begins to reflect the inner strength you are developing. When you push yourself physically, you meet yourself honestly. There is no hiding in physical effort. You either do the work, or you don't. You either push past the barrier, or you give in. That moment of decision is where your character is formed. And the more often you face it, the more often you rise to it, the more your body begins to respond like a warrior, not because it's easy, but because you've trained it to expect resistance and move through it. Strength is not found in comfort. Strength is forged in repetition, in pressure, in effort that doesn't always feel rewarding in the moment. But it is in those exact moments, when the sweat stings your eyes, when your chest feels tight, when your arms feel like they might give out, that something invisible inside you strengthens. You earn your self-respect in those moments. You earn your power. Pushing your body trains your mind. When you learn to endure physical strain, you begin to think differently about pain. You stop running from it. You stop complaining about it. You begin to use it as feedback. You notice how your breath moves under pressure. You listen to your heart beat stronger as you persist. And you realize pain isn't always a warning. It's often a sign of transformation. The soreness you feel after pushing yourself is not failure. It's growth. It's your body confirming you did something hard and it mattered. You don't have to be an athlete to understand this. You don't need a gym membership to experience this change. All you need is the willingness to stop letting your body be a slave to your comfort. All you need is to challenge yourself daily, to walk farther than you did yesterday, to lift something heavier than you thought possible, to keep going for 5 more minutes when your muscles beg you to stop. That consistent resistance is what rewires your system. It tells your mind that you are in control, that your comfort no longer dictates your destiny. Most people stop as soon as it gets hard. They avoid sweat, they avoid breathlessness, they avoid challenge, and in doing so, they avoid their own strength. But the few who choose to keep going, to embrace that tension, to lean into the burn, they discover a version of themselves that most people will never meet. They discover resilience. They discover pride. They discover grit that stays with them even outside the physical world. Because what you build in the body carries over into the mind. The same focus you apply in the last painful rep becomes the same focus you bring into your goals, your relationships, your commitments. The same energy you summon in the final mile becomes the same energy you use when life gets difficult and you don't feel like showing up. It's all connected. You don't train the body in isolation. You train the mind, the emotions, the instincts. You train your entire system to trust your leadership. When your body starts to feel stronger, you walk differently. You move with presence. You breathe deeper. You stop doubting whether you can make it through challenges, because you've already proven to yourself over and over that you can handle discomfort, and once your body realizes this, it begins to crave it. It begins to seek the challenge, because your biology adapts to whatever you demand of it. If you demand comfort, it will weaken. If you demand strength, it will rise. And let's be honest, most people don't push themselves because they are afraid. Not afraid of getting hurt, but afraid of facing what pushing themselves might reveal. They're afraid of finding out that they're not as strong as they believed. But here's the truth. The only way you become stronger is by discovering your current limit and then choosing to push past it. That is the only way. There is no shortcut, no secret formula, only effort, repeated daily. You must embrace the challenge. You must invite it. You must put yourself in situations that force you to grow, whether that's through resistance training, long-distance running, high-intensity work, or simple but consistent daily exertion. Your body needs pressure to grow. And once you understand that, once you see it for what it is, you stop avoiding it and start chasing it. You stop living your life on the sidelines. You stop making excuses about why today isn't the day. And you begin. You begin even when your legs feel heavy. You begin even when your shoulders ache. You begin when the voice in your head says, skip it. You begin because you made a decision long ago that you will not live a life run by ease. You are not training for aesthetics. You are training for life. You are building a vessel strong enough to carry your mission, strong enough to endure pain without breaking, strong enough to stay present when everything in your body says escape. And that kind of strength becomes your identity. Not a temporary motivation, not a one-time performance, but a new standard, a new mindset, a new level of resilience that affects every area of your existence. Your posture improves. Your voice becomes more certain. Your tolerance for failure increases. Because when your body is strong, your spirit begins to follow. When your lungs are trained to breathe through pressure, your decisions become clear, even under stress. So make this a non-negotiable in your life. Treat your physical training as sacred. Don't wait to feel motivated. Don't delay because you're tired. Don't negotiate with weakness. You train because you made a promise to yourself. You train because you refuse to live beneath your potential. You train because you know that nothing else works without physical energy. Not your goals, not your vision, not your daily performance. All of it begins with your energy, and energy is built through effort. There will be days when your body feels heavy, days when your joints feel tight, days when your breath is short. And those are the most important days of all. Those are the days when you don't quit. Those are the days when you remind your body who's in charge. You do the work not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And in doing so, you reinforce the truth that has always been inside you. You are capable of so much more than you have accepted. When you push your physical limits daily, you start to expect more from yourself in every area. You raise your standards. You raise your goals. You raise your discipline, and you stop settling for mediocrity. Because once you've tasted the power of showing up for yourself physically, you stop believing the lie that you are weak. You stop living in fear of what might happen, and you start building a future based on action, not theory. Your body is not a limitation, it is a tool, and the more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. Push it, test it, respect it, and it will reward you not just with strength, but with identity, with certainty, with presence. You are not meant to live your life tired, distracted, unsure. You are meant to live strong, focused, powerful. That kind of life is not given, it is earned, and it begins with one choice, one decision to show up and do the work, no matter what. So push not to punish yourself, but to awaken yourself. Push not to escape, but to become. Push not because it's easy, but because you are done living small. You are done playing weak. You are done waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now, and your body is ready. Now show it what you are made of. Chapter 6. Reinforce confidence by celebrating wins and feeling genuine joy. Every step forward you take matters. It might not feel like a breakthrough. It might not look like a major accomplishment to the world, but it matters. That step forward means you didn't give up. That action, however small, means you stayed consistent, and consistency is the true birthplace of confidence. Not grand success, not public applause, but daily evidence that you are becoming the kind of person you promised yourself you'd be. It's easy to chase the next goal, to keep raising the bar and moving on without acknowledging what you've already achieved. But that kind of living leaves your confidence dry. You become so focused on what you haven't done that you forget to honor what you've already overcome. You ignore the moments where you rose above resistance. You dismiss the times you made progress under pressure. That's not strength. That's sabotage. Real confidence doesn't grow by pressure alone. It grows by recognition. When you allow yourself to feel the victory, even if it's small, your mind learns to associate effort with joy. And that's how motivation becomes sustainable. Not through pain, not through pressure, but through meaning, through connection, through the celebration of progress. Celebration doesn't mean ego. It doesn't mean arrogance. It means acknowledgement. It means looking at what you did with honesty and saying, that mattered. You don't need a crowd to cheer for you. You need to look yourself in the mirror and recognize the steps you've taken. You need to stop skipping over your progress just because it didn't look like perfection. Because perfection isn't real, but progress is. And progress deserves to be noticed. The person who never pauses to feel their growth will never trust their ability to grow. They'll always feel behind, even if they're moving forward. They'll live in a state of constant lack, never allowing themselves to feel full. But when you stop to notice your wins, your body remembers, your nervous system relaxes, your heart opens, and you start to enjoy the journey, not just the outcome. You start to feel joy, not just when you succeed, but while you're in the process of becoming. Joy reinforces belief. When you associate winning with deep inner satisfaction, you want to win again. You don't need to be told to stay focused. You want to. You don't need someone to motivate you. You become self-fueled, because you've tasted the feeling of living in alignment with your goals, and that feeling becomes addictive. That's the kind of momentum that lasts, the kind that doesn't burn out after a week or a month, the kind that carries you through the valleys because you remember how good the peaks feel. And those peaks aren't just external. The best wins are the ones nobody sees. Waking up when you wanted to sleep in, showing up when your mind said take a break, speaking the truth when silence would have been easier, choosing to focus instead of distract. These wins are quiet, but they are powerful, and when you start to see them as victories, you stop needing external validation. You become your own source of strength. You build confidence by becoming someone you respect, and you begin to respect yourself more deeply when you consistently show up for your standards and then pause to appreciate the fact that you did. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's emotional maturity. That's what separates people who burn out from people who burn bright. If you want to live with lasting energy, you must allow yourself to feel joy without guilt. So many people delay happiness. They think they have to earn it through extreme struggle. But that's not strength. That's a cage. And that cage will always make you feel unworthy, no matter how far you've come. If you're always moving the goalpost and never looking back to see how far you've traveled, you will never feel fulfilled. But the truth is, your progress matters now. Your growth counts today. The small wins, the internal victories, the little breakthroughs, they are real. And when you feel them deeply, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to improve and start seeing yourself as someone who improves every day. That's a powerful shift. That's where confidence is born, not in trying harder, but in finally realizing you've already come far. Celebrate what you once doubted you could do. Remember when you used to hesitate, and now you act. Recall when you used to be unsure, and now you move with clarity. You didn't arrive here by accident. You built this version of yourself. You earned this mindset. You created this strength, one decision at a time, and you deserve to feel proud of that. You don't have to wait for a perfect day to be joyful. You don't need a massive win to feel proud. You can feel joy right now, in the truth that you are no longer who you were yesterday. That's worth something. That's worth everything. Because if you don't learn to enjoy the climb, the summit will never satisfy you. If you don't appreciate the process, no result will ever feel like enough. Joy is not a distraction. It's fuel. It energizes your focus. It sharpens your perspective. It reminds you that life is not just about grinding harder. It's about becoming wiser, stronger, more aware, more present. And celebration is what makes the journey meaningful. It turns sacrifice into purpose. It transforms discipline into desire. Give yourself permission to feel good when you make progress. Let that feeling wash over you. Don't suppress it. Don't downplay it. Don't pretend it doesn't matter. It matters. It's the emotional signal that tells your brain, we're doing something right. Let's do more of this. That signal is essential to long-term growth. Because if growth always feels like pain, your mind will eventually rebel. But if growth begins to feel like joy, your mind will support you endlessly. So take a moment to breathe in your wins. Whether it's a new habit, a courageous conversation, a disciplined day, notice it, feel it. Let it imprint on your memory. You are not weak for doing this. You are reinforcing the exact mindset that will keep you going when motivation fades. You are teaching yourself to believe that your effort matters, that your work counts, that your actions are moving you forward. And when joy becomes part of the journey, discipline no longer feels like suffering. It becomes something you want to return to, something that aligns with who you are becoming. You are no longer forcing yourself to stay on track. You are choosing it freely and fully, because you love what it gives you. You love how it shapes you. You love how it makes you feel. That's the life you're building, not just one of effort, but one of alignment. Not just one of pressure, but one of pride. Not just one of grit, but one of grace. And that kind of life requires you to slow down and notice your growth, to honor your effort, to smile at your progress. That smile is not weakness, it's strength. It's the sign of someone who is rooted in themselves, someone who knows they're doing the work, someone who isn't chasing validation, but living in integrity. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need a stage, a trophy, or a title to feel like a winner. You just need to know that you kept going when it mattered. You kept showing up when it wasn't easy. You kept growing when it would have been simpler to stay the same. That truth alone is enough to celebrate. Confidence doesn't come from pretending you're perfect. It comes from realizing how far you've come, how hard you've worked, and how willing you are to keep improving. It's not built in a day, it's built daily. And every win you feel, every moment you recognize as progress, reinforces that inner trust. That belief in yourself becomes unshakable, not because you're never afraid, but because you know without a doubt that you will continue to rise. Let yourself feel the joy of progress. Let it fill your lungs and straighten your back. Let it fuel your next step. Not because everything is perfect, but because you know that you are growing into someone who doesn't give up. Someone who sees what's right, instead of only what's missing. Someone who honors the effort, not just the outcome. That's what confidence really is. Not loud, not forced, just real, grounded. And when it's earned through both effort and joy, it never leaves you. It walks with you through every challenge. It speaks to you when doubt creeps in. It reminds you that you've done hard things before, and you will again. That kind of confidence is yours. You've built it, and you'll keep building it, as long as you keep moving forward, and as long as you keep feeling the joy along the way. Chapter 7. Embrace solitude and listen to your steady heartbeat. Solitude is often misunderstood. It is not a punishment. It is not something to fear or avoid. It is a necessary space where you can listen to the quiet voice inside you, the voice that guides you toward understanding who you truly are. In the noise of the world, it's easy to lose yourself. It's easy to follow the rhythm of society, to pick up habits that don't belong to you, and to move through life with no real connection to your deeper self. But in solitude, something profound happens. You reconnect with your own heartbeat, the steady rhythm that reminds you that you are alive, that you matter, and that you have something valuable to offer the world. When was the last time you sat in silence without distraction? When was the last time you truly listened to your own thoughts, your own breath, your own heartbeat? In our fast-paced world, solitude is often seen as uncomfortable or unnecessary. But it is in those quiet moments, away from the demands of the outside world, that we can find our most honest truths. It's where you can be real with yourself. It's where you can ask yourself the difficult questions without the fear of judgment. And it's where you can learn to listen deeply, not just to your thoughts but to the subtle messages that your body sends you. The beauty of solitude lies in its simplicity. It requires nothing of you. It demands no performance, no outward display of effort. All it asks is that you show up, that you allow yourself to be present, without the need to fill every moment with noise. It's a space where you can reconnect with your inner world and find clarity amidst the chaos. It's in these moments of stillness that you can hear your heartbeat, steady and constant, reminding you of your own existence. Your heartbeat is more than just a physical process. It is the rhythm of your life. It is the pulse that sustains you through every moment of uncertainty. It is a reminder that you are alive, that you are capable, and that you have the power to shape your own reality. In a world that constantly pulls us in different directions, it's easy to forget how powerful solitude can be. We are constantly bombarded with external stimuli, social media, work pressures, the expectations of others, and in this noise we lose touch with the most important relationship we will ever have, the one with ourselves. Solitude gives you the chance to pause, to reflect, and to simply be. It offers you the space to tune out the noise and to tune into what truly matters. When you embrace solitude, you allow yourself to hear the truth beneath all the distractions. You begin to see your own strength, your own resilience, and your own capacity to create the life you desire. Solitude is not about isolation, it's about connection. It is about reconnecting with the deepest parts of yourself and finding peace within. It's about learning to trust yourself, to trust your instincts, and to trust the quiet wisdom that comes from within. In solitude, you are not running away from the world, you are running toward yourself. You are giving yourself the gift of presence, of reflection, and of the clarity that comes from being fully in tune with your own thoughts and feelings. When you take the time to sit in silence, you begin to notice the subtle shifts within you. You begin to understand your own desires, fears, and aspirations with greater clarity. In the silence, you realize that you are not defined by the opinions of others or the expectations of society. You are defined by the choices you make and the actions you take in alignment with your true self. Solitude allows you to break free from the external pressures that often shape your decisions and to create a life that is authentically your own. But solitude is not always easy. It can be uncomfortable at first. Our minds are often filled with distractions, and the quiet can feel overwhelming. In the beginning, it may seem like there's nothing but noise in your head. But this is the process of clearing away the clutter. It's like cleaning out a closet that has been stuffed with things you no longer need. At first it may seem messy, but eventually you will create space for clarity, for insight, and for peace. The key to embracing solitude is to approach it with patience and compassion. Don't rush the process. Don't judge yourself for the thoughts that arise or the discomfort you feel. Instead, embrace it all. Allow yourself to simply be present with whatever comes up, knowing that every moment of solitude is a step toward greater self-awareness. Over time, you will begin to notice the subtle shifts in your mindset. You will start to feel more centered, more grounded, and more confident in your ability to navigate the challenges of life. One of the most powerful aspects of solitude is its ability to help you reconnect with your body. In the constant hustle of daily life, it's easy to become disconnected from your physical self. We are often so focused on external goals and external validation that we forget to listen to the cues our body is giving us. Solitude offers the space to pause and tune in, to feel your breath as it enters and leaves your body, to notice the sensations of tension and relaxation, to hear the steady beat of your heart, reminding you that you are alive and that you have the strength to face whatever comes your way. Your body holds wisdom. It holds the answers to many of the questions you are seeking. But in the noise of daily life, it can be difficult to hear. Solitude allows you to slow down and listen. It gives you the opportunity to honor your body's signals, whether they are physical, emotional, or mental. It allows you to create a deeper connection with yourself, one that goes beyond superficial appearances or external achievements. When you take the time to listen to your body, you begin to understand your needs on a deeper level. You begin to see that true strength comes not from pushing yourself beyond your limits, but from honoring your limits and taking care of yourself from within. Solitude also offers the opportunity to reflect on your journey. It allows you to look back at the path you have walked and see how far you've come. In the rush of everyday life, it's easy to forget the progress you've made. But when you take the time to reflect, you can see the growth, the transformation, and the resilience that has carried you forward. It's in solitude that you can recognize the challenges you've overcome, the lessons you've learned, and the strength you've developed. It's in solitude that you can celebrate your victories, no matter how small they may seem. It is also in solitude that you can release what no longer serves you. We carry so much weight in our minds and bodies, old fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. These thoughts and emotions can weigh us down and prevent us from moving forward. But in the quiet of solitude, you have the space to let go. You can release the past, forgive yourself and others, and create space for new possibilities. Solitude allows you to shed the layers of resistance that have been holding you back, and to step into a new version of yourself, one that is free, one that is empowered, and one that is fully aligned with your true purpose. The steady beat of your heart is a reminder that you are here for a reason. You are alive for a reason. And in the silence, you can hear this truth more clearly than ever before. When you embrace solitude, you allow yourself the opportunity to rediscover the power that resides within you. You begin to realize that you are not defined by the noise of the world, but by the strength that lies within your heart. Solitude is not an escape. It is a return to yourself, a return to your essence, a return to your truth. In solitude, you come to understand that you are enough. You don't need to seek validation from the outside world. You don't need to constantly prove your worth. You already have everything you need within you. All it takes is the courage to listen, to trust, and to embrace the quiet moments that allow you to reconnect with your deepest self. And when you do, you will find that your steady heartbeat is all the affirmation you need. It's the sound of your strength, the sound of your resilience, the sound of your life unfolding, one beautiful, purposeful moment at a time. Chapter 8. Claim personal power by setting intentions and feeling conviction. Personal power is something that comes from within, but it requires intention and conviction to be fully realized. It's not something that can be handed to you or gained from external validation. It is yours by right, always has been, and always will be. The challenge is in claiming it. The moment you consciously decide that you are in control of your own life is the moment you begin to reclaim that power. It starts with setting clear intentions, deciding what you want, and committing to the course of action that will get you there, and coupling that decision with conviction, a deep belief in your ability to make it happen. Your personal power lies in your ability to move with purpose and confidence, undeterred by the doubts that may try to creep in. The first step to claiming your personal power is to set an intention. But setting an intention is not simply thinking about something you want or wishing for it to happen. It's about deciding with clarity what you want to achieve, understanding why it matters, and choosing the path that will lead you there. Intentions are more than just goals. They are a roadmap to becoming the person you are meant to be. When you set an intention, you are drawing a line in the sand, a declaration to the universe and to yourself that you are committed to the outcome. You are not just waiting for things to happen, you are making things happen. Setting intentions allows you to move from a place of uncertainty to one of purpose. It eliminates the distractions and noise that cloud your judgment and focus. It allows you to cut through the fog of indecision and take charge of your actions. But even more than that, setting intentions is about aligning yourself with what is truly important to you. It's about clarifying your desires and your values so that you are not simply acting on autopilot or following the crowd. When you set an intention, you are making a conscious decision to move in the direction that you know is right for you. Conviction is the other half of this powerful equation. It's not enough to simply decide what you want. You must also believe in your ability to achieve it. Without conviction, your intentions are little more than wishful thinking. Conviction gives your intention power. It turns the idea into something tangible, something you can feel in every fiber of your being. It's the unshakable belief that you are capable of success, no matter the obstacles or challenges that may arise. It's the knowing that your strength, your resilience, and your resolve are more than enough to carry you through. Conviction is what keeps you moving forward when the road gets tough. It's what helps you persevere when things don't go as planned, when failure seems imminent, or when the journey feels longer than you imagined. With conviction, you see setbacks as opportunities for growth, not reasons to quit. You trust that each challenge is an important part of the process, and you know that you have everything it takes to overcome it. Conviction gives you the strength to stay the course, no matter how hard it gets. But conviction is not just about mental belief, it's about feeling that belief in your body. It's about embodying your intention and conviction every day. When you truly believe in something, your actions reflect it. You begin to make choices that align with your intention, taking steps that move you closer to your goal. You no longer wait for permission to act, nor do you second-guess yourself at every turn. You take inspired action, trusting that you are on the right path. With each step you take, you grow stronger, more confident, and more aligned with your personal power. One of the greatest gifts of setting clear intentions and feeling conviction is that it removes the uncertainty and confusion that often hold us back. How many times have you found yourself stuck in indecision, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice? How many times have you let self-doubt keep you from taking action? When you set an intention, you take the guesswork out of the equation. You know what you want, and you are willing to take the steps necessary to achieve it. Conviction gives you the courage to trust your decisions, to stop waiting for the perfect moment, and to act in the face of fear. Setting intentions and cultivating conviction also help you maintain a strong sense of focus. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what matters most. You may find yourself pulled in different directions, chasing after things that don't truly align with your values or purpose. But when you have a clear intention and a deep conviction, you stay anchored in your vision. The distractions lose their power. You are able to see through the noise and stay focused on what truly matters. Your energy is no longer wasted on things that don't serve your highest good. Instead, you channel it into actions that move you toward your desired outcome. This focus is what allows you to move with momentum. When you are clear on your intentions and driven by conviction, you begin to build momentum. Each step you take, no matter how small, propels you forward. You begin to gain confidence in your abilities, and that confidence fuels further action. Momentum creates a positive feedback loop. Your actions lead to results, and those results strengthen your belief in yourself. The more you act with intention and conviction, the more you build your personal power, and the more unstoppable you become. But there is another crucial element to this process: the ability to stay true to yourself. The world will always try to tell you who you should be, what you should want, and how you should live. External pressures can easily lead you astray, pulling you away from your true desires and values. But when you set an intention and feel conviction, you are making a commitment to your own truth. You are saying, "This is what I want, and I am willing to take full responsibility for making it happen." Your intention becomes a reflection of your core beliefs, and your conviction ensures that you stay aligned with that truth, no matter what the world throws your way. As you move forward on your journey, it's important to remember that the path to personal power is not always smooth. There will be moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. There will be times when things don't go according to plan, when progress seems slow, or when you question whether your efforts are truly making a difference. But it's in these moments that your personal power is most evident. When you face challenges, it's your ability to stay rooted in your intention and conviction that will keep you moving forward. It's your belief in yourself and your vision that will give you the strength to continue, even when the road ahead seems unclear. The key to claiming personal power is understanding that it doesn't come from external sources. It doesn't come from accolades, recognition, or approval from others. It comes from within. It comes from the clarity of knowing what you want and having the conviction to pursue it relentlessly. When you claim your personal power, you step into a place of unwavering confidence and self-trust. You trust your ability to make decisions, to navigate challenges, and to create the life you desire. Your personal power is your birthright, and once you realize this, nothing can hold you back. In the end, personal power is about embracing your own ability to create change. It's about trusting that you have the strength, the wisdom, and the conviction to shape your reality. When you set intentions and feel conviction, you open yourself up to the endless possibilities that exist in the world. You align yourself with your highest potential, and you move forward with purpose, confidence, and unstoppable momentum. It is in this space that true personal power is realized, and it is yours to claim. Chapter 9. Challenge conventional advice and feel your courage well inside. There comes a time in every individual's life when they must stop listening to the conventional advice that everyone around them is offering. The advice is often well-meaning, but it's not tailored to you, nor is it necessarily the path that will lead you to your highest potential. Most people live their lives by rules handed down to them by society, by parents, by teachers, or by so-called experts. These rules are based on the status quo, on what has worked for others in the past, and on what is considered safe. But safety is not always the road to greatness. Greatness is found when you break free from the conventional and allow yourself to follow a path that feels right for you, even when it goes against what others tell you is possible or wise. When you challenge conventional advice, you are not rejecting it out of spite. You are not being rebellious for the sake of being rebellious. You are simply recognizing that you have the ability to think for yourself, to explore other options, and to take control of your own life. It takes courage to challenge the status quo. It takes courage to step away from the advice that everyone else is following, and to trust that you can carve out your own unique path. But that courage is inside of you. It's already there, just waiting to be tapped into. It's a quiet, steady force that grows stronger. The more you listen to it, the more you choose to trust it. Conventional advice often tells you to follow a set formula for success. Go to school, get a job, climb the corporate ladder, buy a house, get married, retire, and so on. This advice is well worn, and it's ingrained in the fabric of society. But is it really the only way to live? Is it the only formula for success? No, it's not. While it may work for some people, it's not a universal truth. In fact, for many people, this path leads to dissatisfaction, unfulfilled dreams, and a sense of having lived someone else's life instead of their own. The most extraordinary people in history did not follow conventional advice. They broke the mold. They challenged the assumptions of their time, and they forged their own path. They took risks, made mistakes, and defied expectations, all the while building the courage to continue. When you challenge conventional advice, you are not simply rejecting the opinions of others. You are giving yourself permission to step into your own power. You are trusting that you have the ability to navigate the complexities of life in a way that is authentic to you. You are not bound by the fear of judgment or the need for approval. Instead, you are creating your own rules based on your values, your experiences, and your vision for the future. One of the most liberating aspects of challenging conventional advice is the realization that you are not obligated to follow a prescribed path. You do not have to do what everyone else is doing. You do not have to meet society's expectations. The world will try to tell you that there's a right way to live, but the truth is that your way is the right way for you. Your journey is unique. Your goals are yours to define. Your life is yours to create. You do not have to fit into anyone else's mold. When you begin to challenge the conventional, you free yourself from the constraints of comparison and the limiting beliefs that often accompany following the crowd. The courage to challenge conventional advice doesn't come from a place of defiance. It comes from a place of deep trust in your own intuition. When you trust yourself, you begin to recognize that the answers you seek are within you, not in someone else's advice. The conventional advice that others may offer is often based on their own experiences, and while those experiences may have served them, they are not necessarily relevant to your situation. You have your own journey to take, your own lessons to learn, and your own path to follow. When you allow yourself to listen to your inner voice, You open up the possibility of discovering the path that is truly meant for you. But challenging conventional advice also means accepting that you will face resistance. Not everyone will understand why you're making the choices you are. Not everyone will agree with you. People will question you, doubt you, and try to convince you to follow the well-trodden path. But the more you listen to your own heart and follow your own intuition, the less power other people's opinions will have over you. You will begin to recognize that their advice is just that, advice. It is not the truth. It is not the law. It is merely one perspective among many. You have the right to choose whether or not to accept it. When you challenge conventional advice, you also develop resilience. You become accustomed to going against the grain, to taking risks, and to dealing with uncertainty. This is where courage is born, not from having all the answers, but from stepping forward anyway, despite the unknown. As you continue to take action in the face of resistance, you begin to build an internal strength that is unshakable. You learn that it is not failure that defines you, but your ability to keep going, to learn from mistakes, and to grow. Resilience comes from knowing that you are capable of facing whatever comes your way, and that your courage is stronger than any fear or doubt. At the heart of challenging conventional advice is the willingness to take responsibility for your own life. When you follow the crowd, it's easy to abdicate responsibility. You can blame circumstances, society, or other people for where you are in life. But when you choose to challenge conventional advice, you are taking ownership of your decisions. You are acknowledging that your life is yours to shape, and that you are fully responsible for the outcomes. This is empowering. It gives you the freedom to create your own success, to make your own mistakes, and to learn from each experience in your own way. There is a deep sense of freedom that comes with embracing this personal responsibility. You stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping that someone will tell you what to do. You stop looking for external validation. You realize that your personal power lies within you, and that you are the only one who can determine your path. This realization is liberating. It frees you from the need to conform to someone else's idea of success, and it allows you to create a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and uniquely your own. The process of challenging conventional advice is also about recognizing the importance of courage in the pursuit of growth. Growth requires discomfort. It requires moving through uncertainty, navigating new challenges, and pushing through fear. The conventional advice often tells you to stay in your comfort zone, to play it safe. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you stretch beyond what you know, when you take the leap despite the fear, and when you trust that the risks you take will lead you to something greater than you could have imagined. Courage is what allows you to step out of the comfort zone and into the realm of possibility. When you challenge conventional advice, you also create space for others to do the same. By daring to forge your own path, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that it is possible to step away from the crowd, to take risks, and to live authentically. Your courage becomes contagious. The more people who embrace their own uniqueness, the more collectively we begin to challenge the system's norms and expectations that limit us. It's a ripple effect that begins with one person's willingness to defy conventional wisdom and grows into a movement of self-empowerment and authenticity. To challenge conventional advice is to choose to live a life of purpose, a life of meaning, and a life that reflects your true self. It's about breaking free from the confines of what others say is possible and embracing the limitless potential within you. As you continue to challenge the conventional, you will notice your courage grow stronger. you will begin to feel more aligned with your true purpose, and the path ahead will become clearer. This is the power of challenging conventional advice, not just for you but for everyone whose lives you touch along the way. Chapter 10. Affirm your worth by speaking kind words to yourself. There is power in the words we speak to ourselves. In a world that often demands perfection, validation from others, and a constant pursuit of approval, it's easy to forget that the most important affirmation we need comes from within. Our thoughts shape our reality, and the words we tell ourselves, whether positive or negative, have a profound impact on how we feel about ourselves and how we navigate the world. Yet so many of us are conditioned to speak to ourselves harshly, to criticize, to doubt, and to belittle. This destructive self-talk creates an environment where we feel small, unworthy, and incapable. But there is another way. You can affirm your worth by speaking kind words to yourself, words that acknowledge your value, honor your strengths, and remind you of your inherent goodness. Affirming your worth begins with shifting the way you think about yourself. So often, we are taught to be our harshest critics. We've been conditioned to focus on what we're lacking, on where we fall short, and on the mistakes we've made. We internalize these judgments and carry them with us, allowing them to define who we are. But in truth, no mistake or flaw defines your worth. You are not the sum of your shortcomings, nor are you the result of every failure or setback. Your worth is intrinsic. It exists, unshaken, regardless of your past or your circumstances. And the first step to embracing that worth is to speak to yourself with kindness, understanding, and compassion. The power of affirmations lies in their ability to rewire the mind. When you consistently speak kind words to yourself, you begin to change your inner dialogue. Instead of criticizing yourself for every mistake, you start to celebrate your efforts and acknowledge your growth. Rather than focusing on your perceived flaws, you recognize the unique qualities that make you who you are. These affirmations don't need to be grand or complicated. They simply need to be true to you. Simple statements like, "I am worthy," "I am capable," or "I am enough," can start to shift your perspective over time. One of the most important things to remember when practicing affirmations is that they must be genuine. They must resonate with you. If you try to tell yourself something you don't believe, the words will fall flat and feel inauthentic. It's essential to choose affirmations that reflect your true values and your personal sense of self-worth. When you affirm your worth, you are reminding yourself of your unique gifts, your resilience, and your ability to overcome challenges. These affirmations are not just words, they are reminders of the truth that lies within you. Another key aspect of affirming your worth is learning to treat yourself with the same kindness that you would offer to a loved one. Imagine if a friend or family member came to you with the same struggles or insecurities that you face. You would likely offer them words of encouragement, compassion, and support. You wouldn't berate them or point out their flaws. You would remind them of their strengths, their potential, and their ability to rise above their challenges. Why should you treat yourself any differently? You deserve the same love, kindness, and respect that you so freely give to others. It's also important to recognize that affirming your worth is not about inflating your ego or becoming arrogant. It's not about pretending to be perfect or ignoring your weaknesses. Rather, it's about embracing your humanity and accepting that you are worthy of love and respect, despite your imperfections. No one is perfect, and that is precisely what makes us human. Your worth is not contingent on your ability to be flawless. It is inherent in who you are as a person. By speaking kindly to yourself, you acknowledge your value, not because of what you have done or how you appear, but simply because you exist. Your presence in this world is enough. Affirming your worth can also help you build resilience in the face of adversity. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. During these times, it's easy to lose sight of your worth. You may feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or unworthy of success. But by speaking kind words to yourself, you create a foundation of self-love and confidence that can help you navigate these difficult moments. When you remind yourself of your strengths and capabilities, you build the mental and emotional resilience to keep going, even when the road is tough. One of the most powerful benefits of affirming your worth is that it allows you to stop seeking validation from others. When you rely on external validation to feel good about yourself, you are putting your self-worth in the hands of others. This creates an unhealthy cycle of dependence and can leave you feeling powerless and unfulfilled. But when you affirm your worth from within, you take back control. You no longer need the approval of others to feel valuable. You recognize that your worth is not determined by anyone else's opinion of you. You are enough, simply because you are. Affirming your worth also encourages self-compassion. Self-compassion is the ability to treat yourself with kindness, especially when you are struggling or facing difficult emotions. It's easy to be hard on yourself when you make a mistake or experience failure, but self-compassion allows you to embrace those moments as opportunities for growth. Instead of criticizing yourself for not being perfect, you acknowledge your humanity and offer yourself the same compassion you would offer to a friend. This shift in mindset helps you to move forward with grace and confidence, knowing that you are deserving of love and respect, even in your moments of imperfection. Another important aspect of affirming your worth is recognizing the power of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for cultivating a positive mindset and a sense of self-worth. When you practice gratitude, you focus on the positive aspects of your life and the things that you have to be thankful for. This can include your health, your relationships, your talents, your achievements, and your ability to grow and improve. By acknowledging the things that you are grateful for, you create a positive feedback loop that reinforces your sense of worth. You begin to see yourself as someone who is deserving of all the good things in life. As you continue to affirm your worth, you may notice a shift in how you carry yourself. When you speak kind words to yourself, you begin to walk with more confidence, more grace, and more self-assurance. You stop doubting your abilities and start trusting yourself more. This shift in mindset can have a profound impact on your actions. When you believe in your own worth, you are more likely to take risks, pursue your goals, and take actions that align with your values. You are no longer held back by fear or insecurity, but instead, you are empowered to take bold steps toward your dreams. In addition to speaking kind words to yourself, it's also important to practice self-care. Self-care is a way of showing yourself love and respect through your actions. This can include things like taking time for rest and relaxation, nourishing your body with healthy food, engaging in activities that bring you joy, and setting healthy boundaries. When you make self-care a priority, you are affirming your worth by demonstrating that you value yourself enough to take care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. In the end, affirming your worth is not just about saying the right things to yourself. It's about embodying those affirmations in your actions, in your decisions, and in the way you live your life. It's about choosing to believe in yourself, even when things are difficult. It's about acknowledging your value, not because of what you've done, but simply because you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. And when you affirm your worth in this way, you create a life that reflects your true potential, one that is filled with confidence, compassion, and the unwavering belief that you are enough. Chapter 11. Fuel determination by observing your calm, steady breath. In moments of challenge and uncertainty, one of the most powerful sources of strength lies within the simple act of breathing. It is a natural, effortless process that we often take for granted. Yet, when you learn to observe your breath with intention, you tap into a well of calm resilience and determination that can carry you through even the most demanding situations. The breath, steady and unbroken, serves as a constant reminder of the strength you already possess. It is in the quiet, rhythmic flow of each inhale and exhale that you can find the clarity, focus, and determination to keep moving forward. Breathing isn't just a physical function, it is deeply connected to our mental and emotional states. When we're anxious, stressed, or overwhelmed, our breath becomes shallow and erratic. In contrast, when we are calm, grounded, and centered, our breath flows smoothly and steadily. The breath has the remarkable ability to reflect our internal state and, just as powerfully, to influence it. By becoming aware of your breath and learning to regulate it, you can tap into an endless source of inner strength. The first step in harnessing the power of your breath is to simply observe it. Close your eyes for a moment and focus on your natural breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or belly with each inhale and exhale. Don't try to change it or control it, just observe. This simple act of observation has the ability to calm the mind, bringing your attention to the present moment and away from distractions or worries. As you focus on your breath, you create a space of stillness within yourself, allowing your thoughts to settle and your mind to clear. In this space of stillness, you begin to reconnect with your inner strength. With each steady breath, you remind yourself that you have everything you need within you to overcome challenges. You are resilient, you are capable, you are determined. These qualities are not dependent on external circumstances or the opinions of others. They are intrinsic parts of who you are, and your breath serves as a constant reminder of that truth. When you face difficulties, it is easy to become overwhelmed by emotions, fear, doubt, frustration. These emotions can cloud your judgment and make it difficult to think clearly. But when you focus on your breath, you create a mental anchor that keeps you grounded. By observing your steady breath, you create space between yourself and your emotions. You begin to realize that, though you may feel overwhelmed in the moment, you are not controlled by your emotions. You are the observer. You have the power to choose how to respond to what you're feeling. As you observe your breath, you also begin to regulate it. Deep, slow breaths signal to your body that it is time to relax and release tension. This is why techniques like deep breathing exercises are so effective in managing stress and anxiety. When you intentionally slow your breath, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and rest. By practicing deep breathing, you can shift your body out of a fight or flight response and into a state of calm and balance. This calm, steady state is where your determination is born. It is in the stillness that you find the clarity to see your goals more clearly. When you are calm, you are able to think more strategically, to evaluate your situation without the influence of fear or panic. It is from this place of inner peace that you can make the best decisions and take purposeful action toward your goals. Determination is not born from desperation or frantic energy. It is born from a calm, focused mind that knows exactly what it wants and is willing to take consistent, deliberate steps toward achieving it. Breathing also plays a crucial role in maintaining endurance. When pursuing any goal, especially one that requires long-term effort, it's easy to become fatigued or discouraged. You may begin to feel like giving up, as though the road ahead is too long or too difficult. In these moments, your breath can serve as a source of fuel. By focusing on your breath, you remind yourself to keep going. Just as each breath sustains your body, each small step forward, no matter how challenging, moves you closer to your destination. The key is to take one step at a time, breathing steadily and deeply as you go. The practice of observing and controlling your breath can also be used to build mental resilience. Just as physical endurance is developed through consistent training, mental resilience is developed through facing challenges and pushing through discomfort. When you observe your breath in moments of stress, you allow yourself to experience the discomfort without becoming overwhelmed by it. Instead of allowing stress to take over your mind, you use your breath to stay centered and present. This mental resilience helps you face challenges with calmness, determination, and strength, knowing that you have the ability to overcome whatever comes your way. Your breath can also serve as a reminder that change is constant and inevitable. Just as your breath flows in and out, life moves forward, bringing new experiences, challenges, and opportunities. The rhythm of your breath reflects the ebb and flow of life itself. By observing this rhythm, you can cultivate a sense of acceptance and adaptability. When challenges arise, you don't need to panic or resist. Instead, you can respond with the same calm and steady presence that you bring to each breath. The key is to remain flexible, to move with life's changes rather than against them. Moreover, observing your breath brings you back to the present moment. It is so easy to get caught up in the past or the future, dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about what might happen tomorrow. But the only moment you truly have is the present. And in the present moment, you have everything you need to move forward. When you focus on your breath, you ground yourself in the here and now, where true action takes place. Your breath serves as a reminder that no matter what has happened before or what may come, you have the power to choose how you show up in this moment. And in this moment, you have the power to act with determination, resilience, and focus. As you continue to practice observing your breath, you develop a deeper sense of trust in yourself. You begin to recognize that, just as your body knows how to breathe without conscious effort, you know how to navigate life's challenges with strength and grace. You trust that, even when things get difficult, you have the resources within you to persevere. This trust builds over time, and with it, your determination grows stronger. The process of observing your breath is not just about finding calm. It is about developing a relationship with yourself. It is about learning to tune into your own inner wisdom, strength, and resilience. As you breathe, you reconnect with your true self, the part of you that is unshaken by external circumstances and undeterred by obstacles. This steady, unbreakable part of you is your source of determination, and it is always within you, waiting for you to tap into it. In moments of doubt, when the path seems unclear, or when obstacles arise, your breath will always be there to remind you of your strength. It is a constant companion that guides you back to your center, helping you remain focused and grounded as you move forward. With each breath, you can fuel your determination, knowing that you have the power to keep going, no matter what challenges lie ahead. By observing and harnessing the power of your breath, you connect with an unshakable source of strength that can carry you through even the most difficult moments. It is a reminder that no matter what life throws your way, you have everything within you to remain calm, focused, and determined. The breath is your anchor, your source of resilience, and your ultimate tool for navigating life with unwavering determination. Chapter 12. Empower yourself by saying no and feeling relief. There is an immense power in saying no, a power that too many people overlook or fail to embrace. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Everyone seems to want something from us: our time, our energy, our resources. In this frenzy, we often forget that our ability to say no is just as important, if not more so, than our ability to say yes. When you learn to say no, you reclaim control over your life. You empower yourself in ways that go beyond merely setting boundaries. You begin to shape your own reality. The discomfort that often arises when we say no stems from a fear of disappointing others or being judged. We worry about letting someone down, about being seen as selfish, or about missing out on opportunities. But what if saying no isn't selfish at all? What if it is the most loving and empowering thing you can do for both yourself and the people around you? Saying no isn't about rejecting others. It's about acknowledging your own needs, your values, and your goals. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are precious, and that in order to preserve them for what truly matters, you must sometimes turn down requests, invitations, and demands that don't align with your priorities. There is a deep sense of relief that comes with saying no. It may be hard at first, especially if you've been conditioned to please others or avoid conflict. But once you get comfortable with this simple word, you begin to experience a new level of freedom. The weight of obligations that are not yours to bear begins to lift. You start to notice how much space opens up in your life when you stop saying yes to everything. The relief is almost immediate. Your mind becomes clearer, your stress levels decrease, and your sense of self-respect grows. When you say no, you are no longer living your life for others, you are living it for yourself. The true power of saying no lies in its ability to create space. Space for your own thoughts, space for your passions, and space for the people and experiences that truly matter to you. By saying no to the things that drain you, you open up room for the things that fuel you. This is not about being selfish, it's about self-care. And in caring for yourself, you become better equipped to show up fully for the people who truly need you, whether it's your family, your friends, or your colleagues. There is a profound shift that happens when you make saying no a regular practice. At first it may feel uncomfortable, but as you continue to do it, you begin to experience the many layers of freedom it brings. You realize that saying no allows you to stay aligned with your goals, to focus on what is truly important, and to avoid getting caught in the trap of external expectations. Instead of being pulled in a million directions, you become the one who decides where your energy goes. You start to understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and by taking care of your own needs, you are in a better position to help others when it matters most. When you say no, you are not rejecting people, but rather protecting your own peace. By saying no to distractions, you give yourself permission to say yes to what truly serves your purpose. When you say no to activities that drain your energy, you make room for the things that ignite your passion and creativity. This act of self-empowerment allows you to preserve your time and energy for the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and growth. Saying no helps you focus on the long-term vision for your life, rather than getting lost in short-term demands that don't contribute to your personal or professional development. The key to saying no with confidence is understanding that it is an act of self-respect. It's a recognition that you are worthy of having your time and energy valued. It's about prioritizing your own well-being and growth, knowing that your life has a direction and purpose that is unique to you. Saying no is not an act of rejecting the world around you. It is an affirmation of your own value and worth. It's about choosing yourself over and over again, without guilt or shame. Over time, as you practice saying no, you begin to notice a shift in your relationships. Some people may be taken aback by your refusal to comply with every request, but others will come to respect your boundaries. They will understand that when you do say yes, it is because you genuinely want to, not because you feel obligated. Your relationships will begin to thrive as a result of this authenticity. You will find that the people who truly care for you will support your decision to take care of yourself, and they will respect the boundaries you set. As you grow more comfortable with the power of no, you start to see how it directly impacts your emotional and mental health. You feel less stressed, less overwhelmed, and more in control of your life. The anxiety that once accompanied every request for your time slowly begins to fade. With every no, you protect your peace and your energy. You create a sense of order and clarity in your life. This sense of calm empowers you to make better decisions, take more purposeful actions, and focus on what truly matters. In moments where you feel the pressure to say yes, pause for a moment and check in with yourself. Ask yourself if this request aligns with your values, your goals, and your well-being. Is this something that will bring you joy, growth, or fulfillment? Or is it simply another obligation that will leave you feeling drained and depleted? By asking yourself these questions, you give yourself the opportunity to make a conscious, empowered decision, and when you say no, you are affirming your right to prioritize your own needs, desires, and happiness. Learning to say no is not just about rejecting others, it is about embracing your own worth. It is a powerful statement that you are worthy of your time, your peace, and your energy. It is an act of reclaiming control over your life, of refusing to be swept along by the tide of others' expectations. Saying no empowers you to live on your own terms, to take charge of your destiny, and to surround yourself with the people and experiences that truly enrich your life. Each time you say no, you build a stronger sense of self-respect. You reinforce the message that you deserve to live a life that is aligned with your values, that is rooted in purpose, and that honors your well-being. This empowerment comes from within and radiates outward, affecting every area of your life. When you stand in your power, you stop seeking validation from others, and instead, you learn to validate yourself. Saying no is not just a refusal to comply, it is a declaration of your worth and your right to live a life that reflects who you truly are. With practice, saying no becomes a natural part of your life. It becomes a tool that you use to preserve your energy, to protect your peace, and to cultivate the life you desire. You begin to realize that the more you say no to things that drain you, the more you open yourself up to the possibilities of what you can say yes to. It is a beautiful cycle of empowerment that grows stronger with each decision you make. The true power of saying no is not just in the act itself, but in the relief and freedom that follows. You can breathe easier, think clearer, and feel more aligned with your true self. It is a practice that transforms your life, helping you to create the space you need to thrive. With every no, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your life. You empower yourself to live boldly, to pursue your passions, and to prioritize your well-being. And in doing so, you create the life you deserve. Chapter 13. Own each decision and feel your confidence grow inside. Every day, we are faced with decisions, some big, some small, that shape our lives in profound ways. The power to make decisions is one of the most crucial skills we can cultivate. It is through decisions that we steer our lives toward the direction we choose. And yet, for many of us, Decision-making can be a source of fear and anxiety. We fear making the wrong choice, we doubt ourselves, and we often let indecision take root. But here's the truth. Owning your decisions is one of the most empowering actions you can take. When you own each decision you make, you step into a place of true power, where your confidence begins to grow from the inside out. The act of owning a decision means fully accepting responsibility for the choices you make, without regret or second-guessing. It's about taking complete ownership of your actions and trusting yourself enough to follow through. The decisions you make, whether they lead to success or failure, are yours, and that is something to be proud of. Too often, we look to others for validation or approval. We seek permission to make choices, or we defer our decisions to external factors. But true confidence comes from within, and it begins with owning your decisions, whatever the outcome. The first step in owning your decisions is embracing the reality that no one can make the perfect decision every time. Life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And that progress is rooted in the decisions you make along the way. When you make a decision, you are not guaranteed an easy path, but you are guaranteed a chance to learn and grow. Every decision, whether it turns out the way you hoped or not, offers valuable lessons. This perspective frees you from the burden of perfectionism and allows you to make choices with confidence, knowing that you can handle whatever the outcome may be. It's easy to become paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake, but mistakes are simply stepping stones on the path to mastery. When you take ownership of your decisions, you stop dwelling on what could have been. Instead, you focus on what you can learn from the decision you've made. Even if things don't go as planned, you have the power to adjust and redirect your course. You can always make another decision. The key is not to let fear or doubt control your choices, but to act with conviction and trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Owning your decisions also means trusting yourself. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. When you trust that you are capable of making sound decisions, you begin to take more risks. You step out of your comfort zone and stretch beyond your limits. With each decision you make, you build more self-trust, which in turn strengthens your confidence. This self-assurance creates a positive feedback loop. The more confident you feel, the better decisions you make, and the better decisions you make, the more confident you become. Part of owning your decisions is acknowledging that they are your responsibility. In a world that loves to point fingers and place blame, it's easy to fall into the trap of externalizing our choices. We blame circumstances, other people, or external forces when things don't go our way. But when you own your decisions, you stop pointing fingers. You take full responsibility for what you've chosen, and you become empowered by that responsibility. You no longer need to seek validation from others because you understand that your decisions are what shape your future. You begin to see that you have the power to control your life through the decisions you make. Confidence grows when you stop waiting for external validation and start validating yourself. When you make a decision, own it fully and commit to it. Don't second-guess yourself or waver in your commitment. Stand firm in your choice, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Confidence is not about feeling sure of yourself all the time. It's about taking action and trusting that you have the capacity to handle whatever comes next. The more you make decisions and follow through with them, the more you reinforce your belief in yourself. Another aspect of owning your decisions is learning to embrace uncertainty. Often we hesitate to make decisions because we fear the unknown. We want to be certain that we are making the right choice, but the truth is, there is rarely a decision that comes with absolute certainty. Life is unpredictable, and every decision carries an element of risk, but that is where growth lies. When you take ownership of your decisions, you stop waiting for perfect certainty and start embracing the journey of figuring things out along the way. You understand that not every decision will have a clear outcome, but you trust in your ability to adapt, adjust, and pivot as needed. Owning your decisions also means letting go of regret. Regret is a heavy weight that holds us back. It keeps us stuck in the past, wondering what could have been. But when you own your decisions, you free yourself from regret. You acknowledge that the choices you made were the best ones for you at the time. You understand that hindsight is always clearer, and you give yourself the grace to move forward without dwelling on past decisions. Instead of beating yourself up for what didn't work out, you focus on what you can do now to move toward your goals. You are no longer shackled by the past, but empowered by the lessons it has taught you. The key to owning your decisions lies in shifting your mindset. Instead of seeing decisions as burdens or risks, view them as opportunities for growth. Every decision you make is an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to build resilience, and to become a more confident version of yourself. Embrace the process of decision-making with the understanding that there is no perfect path. The only way to know what works for you is to try, to experiment, and to see what resonates with your values and goals. With each choice you get closer to aligning with your true self. As you begin to own your decisions more and more, you'll notice a shift in how you approach challenges. You'll approach them with more confidence, knowing that you have the capacity to handle whatever comes your way. You'll start to trust that no matter the outcome, you will find a way to make the best of it. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding mistakes. It comes from knowing that you can navigate them when they occur. By taking ownership of your decisions, you are telling yourself that you are in control. You have the power to create the life you want through the choices you make. With every decision you make and take ownership of, you begin to feel your confidence grow from the inside out. This confidence doesn't come from external validation or from doing everything perfectly. It comes from the belief that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. It comes from knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way, and that you have the strength to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. The more you own your decisions, the more your sense of self-worth grows. You stop looking for approval or permission from others and start trusting yourself. With each choice you affirm your worth and your ability to create the life you desire. This internal validation becomes the cornerstone of your confidence. You no longer rely on external factors to dictate how you feel about yourself. Instead, you recognize that your worth comes from within, and it is strengthened each time you take responsibility for the decisions you make. When you own each decision you make, you step into a place of true power. You stop letting fear or uncertainty dictate your actions, and you start making decisions with confidence and conviction. You trust yourself to make the right choices, knowing that even if things don't turn out as planned, you can learn, adapt, and grow. This mindset shift will transform your life. It will elevate your confidence, your sense of purpose, and your ability to take on challenges with courage and resilience. By owning your decisions, you take control of your life, and in doing so you unlock your full potential. Chapter 14. Confront negative thoughts and feel renewed energy from action. Negative thoughts have a way of creeping into our minds when we least expect them. They show up in quiet moments, in between tasks, or at the edges of our focus. For many, negative thoughts become an internal soundtrack, replaying doubts, fears, and anxieties. It's easy to allow these thoughts to shape our mood, our confidence, and our actions. Over time, this negativity can erode our motivation, slow our progress, and drain our energy. But here's the good news: you have the power to confront these negative thoughts and replace them with actions that not only combat the negativity, but actually fuel your energy and determination. It's through action that we break free from the grip of negative thinking, and it's in action that we discover renewed energy, strength, and focus. The first step in confronting negative thoughts is recognizing them. These thoughts often masquerade as truths, and they can be surprisingly persistent. They might take the form of doubts about your abilities, fears about your future, or even harsh self-criticism. They whisper, "You're not good enough, you'll never succeed," or "This is too hard." But the key to overcoming these thoughts is not to deny them or ignore them. Acknowledging negative thoughts is the first step toward disempowering them. When you recognize them for what they are, temporary, fleeting, and often unfounded, you take away some of their power. You can then choose not to identify with them or let them control your actions. Once you have acknowledged the negative thoughts, the next step is to confront them head-on. This doesn't mean engaging with them in an argument or trying to reason with them. Negative thoughts are often illogical and irrational, and trying to prove them wrong through logic alone can be a losing battle. Instead, the goal is to confront them by shifting your focus from thought to action. Action is the antidote to negative thinking. When you take decisive action, no matter how small, you send a message to your mind that you are in control, not your doubts. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought, "I'm not capable of handling this task," the best way to confront that thought is by taking action, however small. Start by doing just one thing, one small step toward completing the task. This act of doing something, even if it's just a tiny portion of what needs to be done, shifts your focus away from the negativity and toward progress. It demonstrates to your mind that you can handle the situation, that you are capable of moving forward, and that you don't need to be paralyzed by negative thoughts. Action brings clarity. Often, negative thoughts stem from fear of the unknown, fear of making mistakes, or fear of failure. But the reality is that inaction allows these fears to grow and thrive. When you confront your fears by taking action, you expose them for what they are, nothing more than imagined barriers. Action breaks the cycle of overthinking and doubt, replacing it with momentum and forward movement. Even when the action is imperfect or the outcome isn't exactly what you expected, the simple act of doing something gives you a sense of accomplishment and builds your confidence. It's in the act of doing that your mind begins to shift from negative, limiting thoughts to positive, empowering beliefs. This is where the energy shift occurs. Negative thoughts drain your energy. They weigh you down, slow you down, and make you feel stuck. But action, however small or large, creates energy. It moves you forward and builds momentum. When you start taking action, your energy levels rise, and with it, your sense of empowerment. Even the smallest action creates a spark of positive energy. When you confront negative thoughts through action, you begin to feel that spark grow, igniting your drive, determination, and resilience. A powerful aspect of this process is that the more you take action, the more you build a positive feedback loop. Each action you take produces more energy, which fuels more action, which in turn fuels even more energy. It's a self-perpetuating cycle of growth. Each small victory you experience by taking action reinforces your belief that you are capable, that you can handle challenges, and that you have the power to overcome negative thoughts and beliefs. This positive momentum propels you forward, and soon you find that the negative thoughts you once struggled with no longer hold as much weight. In addition to confronting negative thoughts through action, another effective strategy is to replace those negative thoughts with positive, empowering affirmations. Affirmations are simple, powerful statements that reframe your mindset and redirect your energy. For instance, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," replace it with, "I am capable of overcoming any challenge." If you're struggling with feelings of inadequacy, affirm, "I am worthy of success and growth." By consciously choosing these positive affirmations and repeating them regularly, you train your mind to focus on what is true and empowering rather than on what is limiting and negative. However, affirmations are not magic. They work best when they are paired with real, tangible action. The act of taking steps toward your goals while simultaneously affirming your worth and capabilities creates a powerful synergy. It strengthens your resolve and deepens your belief in yourself. It shifts your focus from self-doubt to self-assurance, from fear to courage, and from inaction to progress. Each time you confront a negative thought with an empowering affirmation and follow it up with action, you reinforce your sense of personal power and resilience. There's another layer to confronting negative thoughts that is critical to your growth: self-compassion. It's easy to be harsh on yourself when negative thoughts arise, but self-criticism only amplifies the negativity. Instead, practice being kind to yourself. Understand that negative thoughts are part of the human experience. They don't define you. You are not your thoughts, and you are certainly not limited by them. Instead of judging yourself for having negative thoughts, offer yourself compassion. Remind yourself that everyone experiences moments of doubt, but what matters is how you respond to those moments. Choose action. Choose self-compassion. Choose progress. One of the most powerful tools in confronting negative thoughts is mindfulness. Being mindful means becoming aware of your thoughts without judgment. When you notice negative thoughts arising, rather than reacting to them or letting them control your emotions, take a step back and observe them. Recognize them as temporary and fleeting. Understand that they do not have the power to control you unless you give them that power. Mindfulness allows you to create space between you and your thoughts, and in that space you can choose how to respond. You can choose action. You can choose to affirm your worth. You can choose to focus on the present moment and take the next step forward. As you continue to confront negative thoughts and replace them with action, affirmations, and mindfulness, you will begin to feel a renewed sense of energy and strength. Negative thoughts no longer have the same hold over you. You become less reactive to them and more proactive in your approach to life. Your energy shifts from one of frustration and fear to one of determination and clarity. You start to feel empowered, knowing that no matter what negative thoughts arise, you have the tools to confront them and move forward with confidence. By embracing this mindset, you will find that you not only reduce the impact of negative thinking on your life, but also begin to thrive in the face of challenges. Negative thoughts will no longer dictate your actions. Instead, you will dictate your actions. Through confrontation, action, and self-compassion, you transform negative thoughts into fuel for growth. Each step you take, no matter how small, generates energy. This energy propels you forward, giving you the strength to continue on your path with purpose, clarity, and an unwavering belief in your ability to succeed. Chapter 15. Sharpen focus by noticing each small physical feeling now. Focus is one of the most powerful tools you can harness in life. It's the difference between moving forward and staying stagnant, between achieving your goals and getting lost in the noise. And yet, focus isn't just a mental state, it's deeply connected to your physical experience. You can sharpen your focus by tuning in to the small physical sensations happening in your body right now. By directing your attention to the present moment and observing the subtle feelings of your body, you unlock a deeper level of awareness. This awareness sharpens your ability to concentrate, to block out distractions, and to truly immerse yourself in whatever you're doing. The key to focus is not just to will it into existence, but to train your mind and body to work in harmony. The physical sensations you experience at any given moment can be an anchor to the present. By becoming acutely aware of these sensations, you bring your mind back to the here and now, pulling it away from the distractions that often derail your attention. The more you practice this, the more it becomes second nature. You can train yourself to sharpen your focus by noticing each small physical feeling and grounding your attention in your body. It all starts with awareness. Awareness of your breath, of the way your feet feel on the ground, of the pressure in your hands, or the subtle shift in your posture. These sensations, no matter how small, are always with you, but we often overlook them as we move through our day, consumed by thoughts and external distractions. Yet, if you stop for a moment and pay attention to these sensations, you begin to notice how they can ground you in the present moment. Your mind, which is often racing through a million different thoughts, can slow down when you focus on the physical experiences of your body. This shift is crucial to sharpening your focus. Take your breath, for example. It's the most immediate physical sensation you can connect with at any moment. You may not always notice it, but your breath is always there, a steady rhythm that can center you when your mind begins to scatter. By bringing attention to each inhale and exhale, you begin to create a connection between your mind and body. This connection is key to sharpening focus. When you focus on your breath, you give your mind something concrete to anchor itself to. Your thoughts are no longer allowed to drift aimlessly. Instead, they are drawn to the sensation of your breath, the rise and fall of your chest, the cool air entering your nose. This simple act pulls you out of the mental noise and into the present. Once you've connected with your breath, you can expand this awareness to other parts of your body. Notice the way your hands feel on the keyboard, how your legs rest on the chair, or how your back supports your posture. These subtle physical sensations may seem insignificant, but they are grounding tools. The more you practice noticing them, the more you create a habit of presence. This presence, in turn, strengthens your ability to focus. Instead of being distracted by thoughts of what's next, what's past, or what might be, you learn to immerse yourself fully in the now. Your physical state also directly influences your mental state. When your body is relaxed, your mind tends to follow suit. When you're tense, your mind becomes restless. This is why it's important to pay attention to how your body feels in moments of stress or distraction. If you feel tension in your shoulders or your hands are clenched, these are physical signs that your focus is being pulled in multiple directions. Simply noticing these sensations gives you the opportunity to release the tension and bring your focus back to the task at hand. One of the most effective ways to train yourself to notice these small physical sensations is through mindfulness practices. Mindfulness is the practice of paying full attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about noticing what's happening right now, whether that's the feeling of your breath, the pressure of your feet on the floor, or the sensations in your arms as you move them. When you incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine, you start to notice these subtle physical feelings more easily. Over time, you develop a greater awareness of your body, and this awareness translates into better focus. In addition to mindfulness, you can use physical sensations as cues to sharpen your focus throughout the day. For instance, when you notice your mind wandering, you can take a brief moment to check in with your body. Are you holding any tension? Are you breathing deeply? Are you grounded in the present? By taking a moment to assess your physical state, you can realign your mind and refocus on the task at hand. This simple habit of checking in with your body allows you to stay on track and regain focus quickly when distractions arise. Your posture also plays a significant role in your ability to focus. When you sit or stand with good posture, you signal to your body that you are ready for action. Poor posture, on the other hand, can create physical discomfort, leading to a restless mind. When you sit up straight, your spine is aligned, and you feel more grounded, which naturally enhances your ability to focus. Pay attention to how your body feels in different postures, and you'll begin to notice how small adjustments can have a big impact on your focus. There's a powerful link between physical activity and mental focus as well. Movement stimulates blood flow to the brain, which helps improve cognitive function. When you feel your focus drifting, a quick walk or even a few stretches can reset your mind and sharpen your concentration. Physical activity doesn't have to be intense. Sometimes even a few moments of movement can make a significant difference. Whether it's standing up, stretching your arms, or walking around the room, movement helps you reconnect with your body and re-engage your mind. It's also important to understand the connection between your physical state and your emotional state. Emotions can influence how sharply you're able to focus. If you're anxious or stressed, your body may tense up, which in turn makes it harder to concentrate. But when you pay attention to the physical sensations of anxiety or stress, you gain the opportunity to release them. For example, if you notice tightness in your chest or a clenched jaw, these are physical indicators that your body is holding on to stress. By acknowledging these sensations and consciously relaxing those areas of your body, you can reduce the emotional charge and return your attention to what matters. The beauty of this practice is that it's always available to you. Your body is constantly giving you feedback, and by learning to notice each small physical feeling, you can regain focus at any time. This simple awareness gives you the power to steer your attention back to the present moment, no matter where your mind has wandered. In a world full of distractions, honing your ability to focus through awareness of your physical sensations is a powerful tool. It allows you to cut through the noise, eliminate unnecessary distractions, and immerse yourself fully in whatever you're doing. When you sharpen your focus by noticing the subtle physical feelings in your body, you don't just become more effective at what you do, you become more present, more connected, and more in control of your own energy. The next time your mind begins to wander, remember that you always have the ability to return to the present moment by simply tuning into your body. This practice of sharpening focus through physical awareness is a habit that, once developed, will carry you through every challenge and opportunity that comes your way. Chapter 16. Sustain momentum by reflecting and noticing genuine pride inside. Momentum is the key to long-term success, and sustaining it requires more than just pushing forward constantly. It requires intentional reflection on the progress you've made and recognizing the pride you feel in your achievements, no matter how small. This is not about arrogance or ego. It's about acknowledging your effort, celebrating the growth, and using that pride to propel yourself forward even further. Pride in yourself, born from real accomplishments, can be the fuel that keeps your momentum going when the initial excitement of a new goal fades. It acts as an anchor, a source of energy that you can tap into whenever you need to push through difficult moments or challenging obstacles. The first step in sustaining momentum is to reflect. Without taking a moment to assess how far you've come, it's easy to get lost in the endless cycle of tasks and projects, feeling as if you're never really getting anywhere. The act of reflecting allows you to step back from the daily grind and acknowledge the progress you've made. It's a reminder that each small step forward counts, even when it feels like it's not enough. Reflection helps you reconnect with your vision, reignite your passion, and see that the work you've put in is not in vain. As you reflect, allow yourself to feel genuine pride in the effort you've made. This isn't about comparing yourself to others or seeking external validation. It's about looking inward and recognizing the strength it takes to keep moving forward, even when the road gets tough. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of perfection or feel discouraged when things aren't progressing as quickly as you'd like. But if you pause and really look at your progress, you'll see that even the smallest victories are worth celebrating. True pride is not about grandiose achievements. It's about recognizing the consistency, discipline, and determination that allowed you to make progress. It's the quiet, internal recognition of your efforts, regardless of how they compare to the successes of others. Pride in this sense is a deep feeling of satisfaction that comes from knowing you've put in the work and you've done it with intention. It's a pride that reinforces your belief in yourself, even when the results aren't immediately visible. To sustain momentum, you need to regularly check in with yourself and give yourself credit. Take a moment to reflect on the work you've completed, the steps you've taken, and the obstacles you've overcome. Don't be afraid to recognize the effort you've put in. This act of reflection helps you to reconnect with your sense of purpose and strengthens your resolve to keep going. It reminds you that even in the face of difficulty, you've been able to push forward, and that resilience is something to be proud of. It's important to note that sustaining momentum doesn't mean you need to always be in overdrive. Sometimes, momentum is about allowing yourself time to recharge, to reflect, and to recalibrate your direction. Reflection isn't just about looking back at what you've accomplished. It's also about adjusting your course when needed. If something isn't working, reflecting gives you the space to pivot and find a new approach, but it also helps you recognize what is working and should be continued. This balance of reflection and action is key to sustaining the energy required for long-term success. In moments of doubt or frustration, pride in your progress can act as a shield against negativity. When things feel difficult or the road ahead seems uncertain, looking back on your accomplishments can provide the boost you need to keep moving forward. Pride doesn't mean you are satisfied with where you are. It simply means you acknowledge that you are on the right path. It gives you the strength to push through the hard moments and helps you maintain the momentum needed to keep progressing. The more you practice reflecting on your progress and taking pride in it, the more natural it becomes to sustain momentum. Over time, you'll find that the habit of acknowledging your achievements and feeling genuine pride becomes an automatic part of your process. It's no longer something you have to remind yourself to do. It becomes ingrained in your mindset. This shift in perspective, from focusing solely on what's next to recognizing what's been accomplished, can be the key to maintaining the energy required to continue striving toward your goals. Each time you take a moment to reflect and celebrate your progress, you reaffirm your commitment to your goals. This builds confidence and reinforces your ability to continue moving forward, even when the going gets tough. The more you connect with the pride you feel inside, the more your momentum will carry you. When you are proud of what you've done, you naturally want to do more. That pride becomes the spark that keeps the fire burning. Ultimately, momentum is sustained by the strength of your inner drive, and that drive is often fueled by a sense of accomplishment. By reflecting on what you've done and acknowledging the pride that comes with it, you tap into a wellspring of motivation that propels you forward. This internal pride is not fleeting. It's a deep, grounded energy that comes from within and will always be there to support you. When you take the time to look at your journey with pride, you'll notice that the challenges and obstacles no longer feel as overwhelming. You realize that you've already overcome so much, and that gives you the courage to face whatever comes next. Each small victory is a building block in your momentum, and by reflecting on those victories, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving even greater things. As you continue on your path, the key to sustaining momentum is not about always looking ahead. It's about honoring where you are right now, recognizing the work you've done, and feeling a deep sense of pride in your efforts. This mindset shift will help you stay grounded and energized as you move forward. So don't rush through your journey. Take the time to reflect, celebrate your wins, and notice the pride you feel inside. That pride will sustain your momentum, and before you know it, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Keep going, and know that each step, no matter how small, is worth recognizing and celebrating. Chapter 17. Break limiting beliefs by testing your limits until exhilarated. There's a limit that exists in your mind, one that keeps you within the safe and predictable boundaries of your comfort zone. It's the voice that tells you what you can and can't do. It's the inner narrative that constantly warns you of failure, exhaustion, or not being good enough. But what if you could challenge those thoughts? What if, instead of allowing them to dictate your actions, you tested your limits and proved to yourself that those beliefs were nothing more than illusions? Breaking limiting beliefs is not a passive activity. It requires action, pushing yourself to go beyond what you think is possible, and embracing the discomfort that comes with stepping into the unknown. Every time you test your limits, you confront the idea that you can't, and you replace it with the truth, you can. Not only can you overcome your perceived limitations, but you can also thrive in the process. The first step to breaking limiting beliefs is to recognize that they exist. They're often so ingrained in our way of thinking that we don't even realize they're shaping our decisions. These beliefs can manifest in many ways. I'm not good enough to try that. I'll fail if I attempt something new, or this is all I'm capable of. The reality is that these thoughts are not factual. They are simply limitations we place on ourselves, often as a way to protect our fragile self-image. But that self-image is not permanent. It's malleable, and it evolves with each challenge we face. Once you're aware of your limiting beliefs, the next step is to challenge them. This is where the true work begins. Testing your limits is not about instant success. It's about pushing yourself, even when it feels like you're not ready. It's about stepping into uncertainty and taking action despite your doubts. The discomfort you feel when you attempt something new is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you're growing, expanding, and breaking free from the chains of self-imposed limitations. To test your limits effectively, start by choosing one area of your life where you feel restricted. It could be in your career, your physical fitness, or your personal relationships. Once you've identified this area, break it down into smaller, manageable challenges. These challenges should stretch you beyond your comfort zone, but remain within reach. For example, if you've always told yourself you're not fit enough to run a marathon, start by committing to running a mile, then 2, then 5, and so on. The point is not to leap straight into the impossible, but to incrementally increase the level of challenge until you reach your true potential. As you face each challenge, you will experience doubt, fear, and resistance. That's perfectly normal, but it's essential to understand that this resistance is not a signal to quit. It's simply the manifestation of your old, limiting beliefs fighting back against your growth. The key is to push through that discomfort and take the next step, no matter how small. Every time you do, you're rewiring your brain to recognize that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. One of the most powerful feelings you can experience is exhilaration. It's the feeling you get when you've pushed yourself beyond your perceived limits, and you realize that not only did you survive, it felt incredible. That exhilaration is not just about achieving the goal you set out to accomplish. It's about the realization that you are far more resilient and capable than you ever believed. It's the feeling of empowerment that comes from doing something that once seemed impossible, and it's a feeling that builds momentum. With each new challenge, that exhilaration grows, and you find yourself becoming more and more confident in your ability to take on even greater obstacles. Testing your limits can come in many forms. It doesn't always have to be physical. It can be mental, emotional, or even social. It might be about starting that business you've been putting off, learning a new skill, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. It's about pushing yourself to face the things that scare you or make you uncomfortable. As you begin to take action in these areas, you'll notice that your belief in your abilities grows. You start to see that you are not bound by the limitations you once accepted as truth. Each time you succeed in pushing through a limiting belief, you reprogram your mind to accept that there is no finish line when it comes to your potential. There is always more to discover, more to achieve, more to learn. The boundaries you once saw as concrete become flexible and fluid, and the more you push against them, the further they stretch. What once felt impossible becomes part of your new reality. What you once thought you couldn't do now seems within reach, and with each new challenge you face, you break down another wall of limitation. But remember, breaking limiting beliefs is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of self-discovery. The more you test your limits, the more you realize just how much untapped potential you have inside you. The key is not to stop when you've broken one belief, but to continue testing, to continue growing. Every time you break through, you expand your horizon, making room for new experiences, new opportunities, and new ways of thinking. Exhilaration comes not from avoiding failure, but from embracing it. When you test your limits, there's always a chance that things might not go as planned. That's the nature of growth. But failure is not something to fear, it's something to learn from. Each failure is a stepping stone, a lesson that teaches you more about yourself and the world around you. When you can reframe failure as a natural part of the journey, you can approach each challenge with excitement, knowing that every step, whether forward or backward, is bringing you closer to your true potential. As you continue to test your limits, the exhilaration you feel becomes less about the outcome and more about the process. The act of pushing through discomfort and seeing what you're capable of becomes its own reward. You'll start to crave the challenge because it aligns with a deeper sense of purpose, the desire to grow, to evolve, and to unlock the fullest version of yourself. Each moment of exhilaration builds upon the last, creating a cycle of growth that propels you forward. So begin today. Choose one area of your life where you've held yourself back due to limiting beliefs. Make a decision to test your limits. Start small, take action, and notice the feelings that arise. Push through the discomfort, Embrace the exhilaration and watch as your belief in yourself transforms. Break the beliefs that have held you hostage and experience the freedom that comes from testing your limits and stepping into the life you were always meant to live. The power to break through is already inside you. It just takes action to bring it to the surface. Chapter 18. Expand patience by waiting calmly without losing your steady breath. Patience is a skill that many people struggle to develop, yet it is one of the most powerful virtues you can cultivate in your life. In a world that thrives on immediacy, where everything is expected to happen quickly and efficiently, waiting calmly and maintaining a steady breath can feel like an almost insurmountable challenge. The good news is that patience is not something that you either have or don't have. It's something you can expand, refine, and strengthen over time with intentional practice. By learning to wait calmly, without losing your steady breath, you can unlock the door to deeper emotional control, more profound self-mastery, and a more peaceful approach to the uncertainties that life throws at you. When we talk about expanding patience, we aren't simply referring to enduring situations or circumstances in silence. True patience involves an active practice of stillness and presence in the face of discomfort, delay, or uncertainty. It's not about passive resignation or giving up on what we want. It's about learning to remain steady, focused, and calm while waiting for the right moment. It's about refusing to let impatience dictate your actions or your emotional state. Instead of reacting with frustration, anger, or anxiety, you respond with an open mind and a sense of calm, even when things are out of your control. The first step in expanding patience is acknowledging that impatience is a natural human response. It arises from a deep-seated desire for immediate gratification or the fear of being left behind. It's driven by the belief that things must unfold according to our timeline, our preferences, and our convenience. But the truth is, life doesn't always unfold in the way we expect. Delays happen, setbacks occur, and circumstances evolve in ways we never anticipated. When we allow impatience to dictate our actions or responses, we give away our power. We react rather than respond, and often that reaction is one of frustration, stress, or even despair. But when we take a step back, breathe, and practice patience, we regain control of ourselves and our emotions. One of the most effective ways to expand your patience is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about fully experiencing whatever is happening right now without being consumed by the desire to escape it. In moments of waiting, whether it's for a delayed flight, a slow response to a request, or the completion of a long-term project, mindfulness allows you to tune into your immediate experience. Instead of focusing on how much you dislike the waiting or how much you want the outcome to come sooner, mindfulness teaches you to anchor your attention to the here and now. This practice is rooted in the breath. When you focus on your breath, you are automatically drawn to the present moment. The rhythm of your breathing can serve as a reminder that all is well, that you are alive, and that everything will unfold in its own time. With each inhale, you bring in calm, and with each exhale, you release tension. As you become more attuned to the rhythm of your breath, you create a sense of steadiness within yourself. This steadiness is essential to expanding patience. When you can wait without panicking, without frantically rushing through each moment, you build resilience against the stresses that impatience brings. Another powerful way to expand your patience is by reframing your perspective on waiting. Instead of seeing it as an inconvenience, you can choose to view it as an opportunity. Each moment of waiting is a chance to practice your inner calm, to strengthen your emotional muscles, and to deepen your understanding of yourself. When you start to see waiting as a gift rather than a burden, you begin to shift your approach to it. Patience becomes a choice rather than a reaction. You choose to wait calmly because you understand that the process of waiting is just as important as the end result. In fact, it often teaches you more about yourself and the world around you than the outcome ever could. As you expand your patience, it's important to recognize that it's not about eliminating discomfort. There will always be moments when waiting feels difficult or frustrating. The key is not to avoid those feelings, but to learn how to sit with them without being overwhelmed by them. Discomfort is a natural part of life, and learning to sit with it without reacting in haste is a skill that pays off in many areas of your life. The ability to be present, to wait calmly, and to allow things to unfold at their own pace is one of the greatest tools you can cultivate for your own personal growth. Patience also involves trusting the process and trusting in your ability to navigate life's challenges. When you expand your patience, you start to understand that there is a bigger picture at play. Not everything happens in an instant, and not every delay is a setback. Sometimes, the delay itself is a necessary part of the process, a chance for something to align, or for an opportunity to present itself at just the right moment. When you trust that life is unfolding as it should, even in moments of uncertainty, you feel a sense of calm and surrender. You stop fighting the process and start allowing things to happen in their own time, which frees up your energy to focus on what really matters. The act of waiting calmly, without losing your steady breath, also encourages you to be more compassionate with yourself and others. When you're able to remain patient in the face of difficulty, you create a space for compassion to flow. You stop rushing to judgment, either of yourself or of others, and you create room for understanding and acceptance. This not only enhances your emotional intelligence, but also improves your relationships. When you are patient with yourself, you allow yourself the space to grow, to make mistakes, and to learn without the pressure of perfection. When you are patient with others, you create an environment of trust, respect, and support. The benefits of expanding patience extend far beyond the moments of waiting. As you become more skilled in waiting calmly, you begin to notice a shift in your overall mindset. Patience becomes ingrained in your daily life, helping you navigate challenges with more ease and less stress. You learn to approach situations with a calm, steady demeanor, even when things don't go as planned. The ripple effect of this calmness touches every part of your life, from your work to your relationships to your health. Your ability to wait without losing your breath transforms you into a more resilient, centered, and peaceful person. It's important to remember that patience is a lifelong practice, and like any skill, it requires constant attention and effort. There will be times when impatience creeps back in, and when you feel yourself becoming agitated or restless. When this happens, don't judge yourself. Instead, return to your breath. Take a deep inhale and exhale slowly. Ground yourself in the present moment and remind yourself that patience is something you are building over time, one breath at a time. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to remain calm and steady in any situation. As you continue to expand your patience, you will find that you no longer feel at the mercy of time. You begin to understand that everything has its own rhythm, and by aligning yourself with that rhythm, you can move through life with greater ease. You no longer need to rush to get to the end. Instead, you learn to enjoy the journey, knowing that every moment is an opportunity to practice patience, to grow, and to become the best version of yourself. So take a moment now, wherever you are, to breathe deeply and slowly. Notice the steady rhythm of your breath, and as you inhale and exhale, remind yourself that patience is something you are cultivating within yourself. It is a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life, guiding you through moments of uncertainty, discomfort, and waiting. The more you practice, the more you will discover that patience is not just about waiting for things to unfold. It is about embracing the process of life with calmness and grace. Chapter 19. Command respect by holding eye contact with unwavering resolve. There's a simple yet profound act that has the potential to command respect in any interaction. It's something that costs nothing, but its impact is immeasurable. It's the power of holding unwavering eye contact. It may seem subtle, almost inconspicuous, but the truth is, it sends a clear message to everyone around you. You are present, you are confident, and you deserve respect. To command respect, you must first understand that respect is not freely given or automatically assumed. It's something that must be earned. However, in earning that respect, you don't need to force it or demand it aggressively. It's not about trying to be domineering or overpowering. Respect is earned through consistency, self-assurance, and an unshakable belief in your own worth. And one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to project that inner strength and confidence is through unwavering eye contact. Eye contact is a fundamental aspect of human communication. It is often said that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and this statement holds a great deal of truth. Our eyes communicate more than words could ever express. A glance can convey understanding, empathy, suspicion, admiration, or even dominance. Eye contact is a powerful non-verbal cue that establishes connection and conveys authority. When you look someone in the eye, you are saying, "I acknowledge your presence, but also, I am confident in my own presence." When you engage in unwavering eye contact, you're showing the world that you are not intimidated by them. You are not avoiding confrontation, nor are you backing down in fear. Instead, you are calmly and confidently asserting your position in the interaction. You are ready to engage, to be present, and to communicate openly. This doesn't mean you stare at people without blinking or make others uncomfortable. It's about maintaining natural, consistent eye contact that is steady and intentional. It's about showing others that you are comfortable in your own skin and you are not afraid to stand your ground. Eye contact has an almost magical ability to shift dynamics in a conversation or an encounter. When you look someone in the eye, you're telling them that you value their attention, that you are fully engaged, and that you expect the same level of respect in return. It's a subtle, unspoken way of asserting that you are a force to be reckoned with. This can be particularly important in situations where you are trying to establish yourself as an equal, or when you are seeking to make your point clear. In meetings, during negotiations, or in everyday interactions, holding eye contact with unwavering resolve can make all the difference in how others perceive you. However, the power of eye contact isn't just in its ability to assert dominance or control. It's also a way of fostering trust and building rapport. When you hold eye contact with someone, you are showing them that you have nothing to hide, that you are open and transparent. It's a form of connection that transcends words. Trust is built through consistent, genuine eye contact. When you look someone in the eye, you are inviting them to trust you by showing that you are authentic, grounded, and sure of your intentions. But why does this simple act of holding eye contact carry such power? To understand this, you must recognize that eye contact is deeply ingrained in our biology and psychology. Humans are wired to communicate through their eyes. From the moment we are born, we rely on eye contact to establish connections and gauge the emotions of others. As children, we learn to seek our caregivers' eyes to understand their emotional state and to form bonds. As we grow, eye contact becomes an essential tool in navigating social interactions, helping us establish dominance, trust, empathy, and understanding. When you avoid eye contact, it can be interpreted as a sign of weakness or insecurity. You may appear unsure of yourself or lacking in confidence. Conversely, when you look someone in the eye and maintain that contact with steady resolve, you signal that you are fully aware of your surroundings and fully capable of navigating them. In essence, you are projecting emotional stability, inner strength, and confidence. If you want to command respect in every aspect of your life, holding unwavering eye contact is one of the simplest but most powerful tools you can use. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not accustomed to it, but with time, it becomes a natural extension of your presence. The more you practice this habit, the more you will find that people respond to you differently. They will begin to recognize you as someone who is self-assured, grounded, and worthy of respect. This unwavering eye contact is not just about your interactions with others, it is also a reflection of how you feel about yourself. When you are able to hold eye contact with conviction, it's a sign that you have come to terms with who you are, that you value yourself, and that you believe in your worth. The way you hold your gaze tells a story about your inner confidence. You cannot fake this kind of self-assurance, it must come from within. If you struggle with self-doubt or insecurity, practicing eye contact can be a helpful tool to overcome those feelings and step into your power. Moreover, maintaining unwavering eye contact can help you break free from the grip of fear or anxiety. Many people shy away from eye contact because they are afraid of being judged or rejected. But the truth is, the more you practice holding eye contact, the more you realize that there is nothing to fear. People will respect you for your ability to stand tall and engage with them without flinching. Your unflinching gaze is a sign of inner strength, and others will recognize that. It is important to understand that this isn't about forcing your will upon others, nor is it about trying to dominate them. The goal is not to make others feel uncomfortable or intimidated, but to project an energy of confidence, calm, and certainty. True respect is earned through understanding, not through aggression. Holding eye contact with unwavering resolve should be a display of confidence and self-assurance, not a tool to make others feel small. When done with the right intentions, unwavering eye contact becomes a mirror, reflecting your own strength and encouraging others to meet you at the same level of respect. The impact of holding eye contact is also amplified in difficult or high-stakes conversations. Whether you're giving a presentation, negotiating a deal, or confronting someone about an issue, maintaining solid eye contact allows you to stay grounded and connected. It shows that you are fully engaged and fully committed to the exchange. People will take you more seriously when they see that you are unwavering in your presence and resolve. It's also important to understand that eye contact can be a way of controlling the pace of a conversation. When you hold steady eye contact, you establish a rhythm that commands attention. People are less likely to interrupt you or dismiss your words when you maintain this direct connection. This creates a powerful dynamic in any interaction, where you are seen as a leader in the conversation, someone whose words carry weight and merit. If you struggle with maintaining eye contact, start practicing in low-pressure situations. During casual conversations, make a conscious effort to maintain eye contact for a few seconds longer than you normally would. Notice how it feels, and pay attention to how the other person reacts. Over time, you will grow more comfortable with this simple yet powerful tool. Eventually, it will become second nature, and you'll find that your confidence in all situations increases as a result. In conclusion, commanding respect is not about dominating others. It's about presenting yourself with unwavering confidence, presence, and self-assurance. Holding eye contact with resolve is one of the most effective ways to communicate this. It's an effortless yet powerful way to express your worth, build trust, and earn respect. When you look someone in the eye with steady conviction, you are sending a message to the world that you are unshakable. You are telling others that you are comfortable in your own skin and that you expect the same level of respect in return. As you continue to practice this art of unwavering eye contact, you will find that it transforms not just how others see you but how you see yourself. It will become a symbol of your strength, your resolve, and your ability to navigate the world with confidence and grace. Chapter 20. Ignite Self-Belief. By recalling times you overcame hardship, there is an undeniable power within you, an inner fire that fuels your self-belief. This power is not something you simply wish for, it's something you've already experienced within yourself. It's forged in moments of hardship, when the world seemed to press down on you, and yet you found the strength to push back. The times you overcame struggle, the battles you fought in silence, the obstacles you crushed, these moments, whether big or small, are the keys to igniting your self-belief. Self-belief is the foundation upon which everything you strive for is built. It's the belief that no matter what stands before you, you have the power to rise above it. Self-belief is not a trait that is granted or inherited. It is something you cultivate through action, perseverance, and the most important ingredient, remembering who you truly are. This is where recalling times of hardship comes into play. When you look back on the struggles you've already faced and reflect on how you emerged from them, you remind yourself of your innate strength and resilience. It's easy to forget the strength you possess when you are deep in the trenches of a new challenge. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and doubt your ability to rise above your current circumstances. But when you take a step back and recall the battles you've already won, it serves as a reminder of what you are capable of. You have overcome challenges before, and that means you have the power to do it again. Each hardship you've faced, each difficulty you've overcome, is a testament to your ability to adapt, to grow, and to emerge victorious. Think back to a time when everything seemed impossible. Maybe it was a time when you faced a personal loss, a financial setback, or a time when your health was at risk. Maybe it was a time when you were surrounded by negativity, or when you were faced with an overwhelming challenge at work or in your personal life. In that moment, did you believe you could make it through? Perhaps you didn't know how, but you still found a way forward. Perhaps you were uncertain, but you took one step, then another, and before you knew it, you had crossed the finish line. It's in these moments that your self-belief was forged. These times shaped you into the person you are today. Every time you pressed on when the odds were against you, every time you picked yourself up after falling, you were strengthening that inner belief. The power to overcome hardship is not just in the physical act of pushing through, it is in the mindset that tells you, I can do this, even when everything inside of you tells you otherwise. That is the essence of self-belief. Self-belief doesn't come from looking at your current situation and comparing it to where you want to be. It doesn't come from the perfection you see in others. Instead, it comes from within, by looking at where you've been, what you've survived, and how you've grown. You've already faced obstacles that seemed insurmountable at the time, and yet, here you are. That is proof that you are capable of far more than you give yourself credit for. Recall those times when you had to dig deep, when you thought you couldn't take another step, but you did. Remember that moment when you made the decision to not give up, when you made the conscious choice to keep going, even when it seemed like everything was working against you. That moment of decision is where your self-belief lives. It is in that very moment that you chose to stand up instead of staying down. It is in that moment when you ignited the fire of resilience within you. And that fire, that inner strength, will continue to burn whenever you need it. This process of recalling your past hardships and triumphs isn't just about nostalgia. It's about recognizing patterns in your life, the times when you've been knocked down, but you've gotten back up. The key to self-belief lies in your ability to recognize that overcoming hardship is not a random event, it is a skill. You've developed the ability to face difficult circumstances and persevere, and with each struggle you face, that skill only sharpens. When you reflect on your past hardships, you also gain a perspective that helps you look at your current challenges differently. What you're facing now may feel monumental, but when you recall the times you've made it through far worse, you begin to see that you are more than equipped to handle what's in front of you. Your mind, heart, and soul have been through the fire, and they have emerged stronger each time. Every battle you fought has added to the wealth of strength and resilience you carry inside you. So when the next challenge comes your way, remember those times and know that you have faced the storm before and have come out on the other side. Self-belief is not a one-time achievement. It is something you must continually nurture. It's something that grows as you face and overcome each new obstacle. That's why reflecting on past hardships is so powerful. Each time you remind yourself of your strength, you are reinforcing your belief in yourself. When you face a new hardship, you can look back and say, "I've done this before, I've been through worse. I have what it takes." And here's the beauty of this process. The more you tap into your past victories over hardship, the more you will begin to see that they weren't isolated events. They weren't one-off instances of luck or timing. They were moments when you chose to be resilient, when you made the decision to continue even when everything seemed to tell you to quit. That mindset is what has gotten you through. It wasn't a stroke of fate or chance. It was your inner strength and your commitment to showing up for yourself, even when no one else could. As you recall those times, let that fuel your present journey. When you face new adversity, carry with you the knowledge that you have already proven yourself. You have already done the impossible. Each time you remind yourself of your past strength, you are laying the foundation for greater belief in yourself in the future. The more you remember and reflect, the more you realize that you can and will overcome whatever comes your way. One of the greatest mistakes people make is to underestimate the power of their own resilience. They see themselves as weak or incapable, but they fail to recognize all the moments in their lives where they were anything but weak. You are not defined by the hardships you faced, but by how you've responded to them. The person you are today is the result of every time you refused to quit, every time you stood up after falling. You are stronger than you know. Your self-belief comes from your ability to trust yourself. It comes from the quiet, knowing that no matter what, you will handle it. You've handled everything life has thrown at you so far, and that's proof that you are more than capable. Every time you remember a hardship you overcame, you reinforce that trust in yourself. You are not the person who crumbles under pressure. You are the person who rises to the occasion. So whenever you face a new challenge, take a moment to reflect. Close your eyes and recall the times when you thought you couldn't go on, but you did. When you felt like the world was too heavy, but you carried it anyway. Let those memories remind you of your strength. Let them fuel your belief in yourself. You have already proven that you are capable of incredible things. Now, it's time to believe in that power fully. You are your greatest asset. Trust that you have everything you need to overcome whatever comes next. Every time you recall your triumphs over adversity, you ignite a fire inside you, a fire that can never be extinguished. And that fire is your self-belief.